let me ask my group. Gresh, are you here, Gresh?
Yeah, Mazen, I'm here.
Yeah, could you please text, are you in the studio?
Yeah, I'm ready. Everyone is connected. Actually, there is some issue with the link, so everyone is connecting. Just give 2 minutes.
Yeah,
So you'll be all in a class.
Yeah, we all are in 5 and 5.
Okay, so why you don't use like one computer with the screen?
Okay, actually, we put that thing already. Okay, I thought everyone should join, so yeah.
Yeah, and you can turn the camera, like you can share the screen for all the studio so they can hear us. I'm not sure if they can hear us from the TV or no.
That's the issue. That's why I mean we are not able to hear from the TV.
Okay, so yeah. So each one should join.
Yeah. So I'm asking everyone to connect their earphones as well.
Okay, but all our group in class now.
Yes, everyone is in class.
Okay, that's good. Prepare your presentation. We are because you are going to be the first. Okay.
So we are doing the first. Okay.
You can who's the? Have you got some students?
From my group, guys. Can you please drop a message in your group to make sure everyone knows where to come and everyone's well connected to either to their laptop or anywhere that they can see and hear us.
Yes.
I see 2, 3 students from my group.
If you can turn on your camera, all students, turn your camera.
Yeah. I would like to see little people rather than small initials on my screen, and that's kind of scary. All right, I can see my groups are together. Guys, are you together in the studio?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Good.
Okay, and you can see and hear us okay. Perfect. Good. Let's wait until 10 past. I think they are still coming. Or most of us are here already because they're sharing one screen.
Yeah.
Very nice. So guys, whenever you can you please either share a laptop that I can see you or turn on your camera so that I know you're all alive and well.
Everyone turn on their camera.
Very nice.
Hi. Good morning, everybody.
Yeah, guys, turn on your camera but mute yourself unless you're doing the presentation so that we don't have echoes from the background.
Yeah. Turn on the camera, mute yourself.
Your mic, Gresh.
I see my students coming in the background.
Good.
We are almost punctual. Very good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, are we all here? Can you make sure you mute yourself and turn on your camera? Very nice. Okay, I tend to be super punctual on these kind of things. So let's dive right in. Firstly, I'm going to introduce our guest reviewer, Dr. Farnas Ganzi. She's one of my dearest PhD fellows back in Sheffield, who has a specialist in community design and development. She's now a senior consultant at LDA Design. She's definitely one of the most brilliant and the best. So Farnas, do you want to say some short words to our students and kick off the day?
Hi everyone, can you hear me? Okay? All right. So I'm happy to be here and to just give you a brief introduction. I've studied PhD with our friend here in Sheffield University, landscape architecture, and then after I finished my study, I went to practice, and now we are doing kind of master planning, landscape-led designs that are designing places for people. So it's very much landscape-led, and in relation to how actually people could thrive and live in spaces that are built for them. So very excited to be here and look forward to your projects.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, everybody. I think the agenda of today, like my group, Smart Urban Heritage Group, they will present first, okay? But I would like to ask the two group, when they make the presentation, take your time. There is no time limit. It's not time limit that you spend all the day. No, but take your time. Speak slowly, okay? And you don't need to rush. And then after we finish the presentation for each group by group, after the presentation, we'll give a feedback, and then the second group will present again, and then we'll start some general feedback. If we got time, let's see how this morning is going to be. Okay, if we got time for afternoon, there will be a drop-in session with Dr. Franz. Franz, you are going to in the same meeting link, okay, to discuss, ask your some question about your projects, about the concept, how you design, and we'll give you a detailed feedback also. Is that clear? And me and Yuka will not be here, so you can talk with the Franz, anything you would like, okay? Just about the project, not something. Yeah.
Bad about us. No.
Yeah.
No
So,
complaints
Just
received.
be clear, I got the morning off, especially for the kind of presentations, but then I was going to just do it. So it's going to be a drop-in in the afternoon.
if we got time, let's see. Yeah. They will join you later afternoon, maybe, if we got time. Might be we don't. Maybe we'll present the project in the morning and the second project.
I suppose we keep the link on. It's like
Yeah.
I'm in the office and they kind of come and drop in and then present if they have
Yeah.
questions about the project.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
I think that would be fine. Yeah.
It sounds like a plan. So to my group, as always, I'm way too harsh to all of you guys. So I give you time limits of 25 minutes for presentation. I'm very sorry, I see Chen Lu's face is crying. But now that means that you can talk slowly, you don't have to rush your time. So you can definitely exceed that 25 minutes of time limit. But if we've got shorter and more precise presentation, that means we are probably going to spend more time in the Q&A and discussion session. So I guess the overall time will be similar. But sorry that I was super harsh. And now you can ignore that limit and talk slowly on the presentation, right? All right, should we start with Martin's group?
Yeah. If you are ready, like, you can start your presentation, guys.
Yeah, everyone, so the spokesperson, can you please share your screen, and the rest of us will mute ourselves.
Can you see the screen?
Yes, we can see your screen. Yeah.
So, introduce. All the best.
I'm this one, and I can see my face.
Don't worry about your Start.
Okay, hello. Hi everyone. Our group is Smart Urban Heritage, and the site of our project is Pomolen, Iceland. And this is the group members. Basically, the background of us are not the urbanism and architecture. Most of us are the architecture design before. So far, we have 4 contents of our project, and maybe later we will add the future development after this day. And for part one, for starter, we make a brief introductions of our site locations, and importantly, we try to learn the concept of smart urban heritage. We want to know what is smart urban heritage, and in terms of it, we use three different principles: the urban heritage, smart cities, and sustainable city. Yeah, and this is the locations of our sites. The most stunning point is it is the conjunctions of the three districts: the Salford, Trafford, and the central of Manchester. And we so far we realized that the low accessibilities and underdevelopment of this island. You can have a look. And this is the methodology what we will use to support our design, and the background, city transformations, a literature review, some preparations, evidence. Yeah. Yeah. This is the urban heritage concept, because we are thinking in terms of smart urban heritage. It is a kind of integrate concept. So we separate into three principles, and the first one is the urban heritage. We try to learn the series and some case studies to, and we extract the idea from that. See what kind of element we can apply into our designs, and this is the indicators of the urban heritage concept. A case study. Yeah, basically it's about some maintenance and protections, and so that we will try to think how to apply into design. And this is the smart city concept. And the point we are focused on is the smart mobility and smart living and smart peoples. There are some case studies. The Wi-Fi connections and the recycling, how we can recycling from this island, and the mobility. Yeah, most importantly is the sustainable. I think the sustainable is the most important point, because whenever you use smart things or not, it is to support the sustainable life. This is the case study, and for the first one, the ecological value, I feel like it is quite similar to our side, because it is a waste highland before, and they redesigned it, just let the grass grow through the pathways, and I feel the design idea of the about the symbolic relationship between natures and the civilizations. That's what kind of idea what we want to achieve, and the health and wellness, the kind of community space we want to create, make people more interactions, and the traditional facade of the wall, and an internal colorful wall inside, maybe relevant to our heritage idea, and also this kind of infrastructures on public space can block the wind. So we don't need to provide extra heated things at their sites. And this is the conclusion of the smart urban heritage. So all those indicators is what we were gonna achieve in our design. Would you like to explain these tribes?
Just read it.
Okay. This is the and the part 2 is about historical background and urban transformations, and it is based on the large scale of Manchester cities, and we analyze the history of modern Iceland through different kind of analysis. Yes, this is the analysis of the large scale of the Great Manchesters, and the as we can see from the change of urban fabric, the settlement the concentrations of the urban fabric settle at middles, and it doesn't have so much change, and then gradually it shifts a little bit alongside with the river. Most of the urban and the population grows alongside with the river. For the context of the Pomona Iceland, in 1840s, the outline of Pomona Iceland appeared to connect the Manchester cities, and in 1890s it started to look more like a kind of Iceland, and then it kept the shape like that. It used as the marinas in the 1920s, and so far currently the Iceland is filled, and the pier is decreased. This is the timeline of Pomona Iceland, and the significant event of the Pomona Iceland it is used as a canal as before, and there are very famous palaces on the Pomona Iceland. It attracts a lot of people to come there before, and after that it exported by the factories. And then it after the export, it treated as the ship canal. After a long time as a wasteland, something interesting about there is a club on the ship, but it just keep for about 1 year, and it dies. Now it keep for a long time for wastelands, as now there are some under development projects which is under construction on the site. The building which named the Pomona Water. Okay, we also analyze the surrounding historical and contemporary buildings, and make some comparisons of these kind of buildings. This is a more traditional one, and this is the modern style. For part 3, we went to the site analysis and we more see what's going on with surrounding context of Pomona Islands. This is the...
My part. Sorry.
Okay.
So basically, according to the initial two parts, we came down to the third part, which is our site analysis. And we went to a site for the multiple times, and we got to know there are like every time we got to see some different activities happening around the site. So it was easier to come to a point how to develop the city, or sorry, how to develop the site. So this is the first, what is the land use around our site? So we have calculated and we have seen how much, the residential and the business areas are around the site. And obviously it was depend on the historical value, what we explained in the earlier part, the historical context and everything. Because around the island, there are a lot of, kind of business things, because earlier it was used as a dock. So it was easier to for the conveying all these things to the outer city and in the city. This is a building height map which we designed, and maybe it was already there. So we just calculated the height of the buildings and we tried to find what is the height density around the site. So from this we can see, okay, the darkest color are the tallest building around the site, and the lightest color are the average height of the site height of the buildings around the site. This is a traffic map around the site, in which we have tried to incorporate the different routes like the railway, the main roads, the car parking, the shipping, how the shipping used to happen earlier. And still I think there are some boats which used to travel from the water, because I think they have some permission about something, but it doesn't used as a part of commute. It just used as a part of some limited kind of transportation. So then there are secondary roads and the bus stations near to our site. So how we can understand what kind of density we'll be targeting while designing the site. These are the climate analysis according to which we try to develop our design. So basically the site is oriented more to the southern part, and the wind is majorly from the southwest. These are the building section and the profile of the section, actually what is actually the skyline around the site, and these are the interaction lines which we feel we should incorporate, because it represents the height of the building and the skyline, how they are targeting. These are also from the other part. You can see in the key plan where it's cutting the site as well. So yeah. So we try to cut different sections from different sides, so we can understand how we come to a conclusion. So while coming to a conclusion, we understood, okay, the site observation was like the lower part, the image which is we are showing, it's the basic elevation which we see in the front of the island. From this side we have shown the arrows, and here we can see the different types of landscape and flora and fauna, what is getting ignored because of the dead activities in Pomona Island. And on the left side you can see how what kind of people are actually using the site. So majorly people using this site for the running thing and everything, that too not exactly site, just the outer part, just the peripheral part which is open to public, and it's not actually completely open, it is closed and it is very restricted at majorly points. So you need to go out again, and then climb again. So there are a lot of difficulties according to that. So these are some different photos around the site, how the elevation of the Pomona Island, how it is looking from different angles. So you can see it's the land has a very land has a good potential for the development, but there are some issues regarding earlier development and everything, the reason it is not getting developed. So there is a media city nearby, and there are some foot bridges which are connecting the outer part. But that was very far from the site, not near to the site. So basically, this part doesn't have any connection here. Uh, yeah, so on the left side, you can see there is a Pomana station, which is the tram station. And on the right side, you can see the railway bridge, which is there. And this is basically the contextual photos of the site, how from which we try to show the angle. So the the bridges and everything, the woody, I mean the trees and the entrance bridges, every area where we could get access and get into the site. So we find many issues regarding that. So first was it was have very restricted accessibility from all the ends. The second is the noise pollution which is happening due to the tram line. The third one is the unused landscape and the flora fauna which is already on the site but it's not getting used in any form. The fourth one is the littering in the corners in the waterfront. You can see here. There is no connectivity to another side, so you can see there is no overbridge or something which is connecting on the other side. It's just a tram line which connects here, but that too a person cannot walk on that thing. So basically, if you want to go to that side, you either need to go back like 1.5 mile back, or maybe 1.5 mile ahead to cross the part, or you need to take a tram. That's the only solution. So the population analysis, we try to incorporate what kind of people actually visit the site and what kind of people are living around the site. So yeah. And the SWOT analysis, we could understood, okay, the strength, we have the different kind of strength, opportunity and weakness and threats to the site. So the strength has it has a natural water body from both the end. The second strength is it has its historic value, which is a kind of very big thing to be considered. The third thing is it has a multiple travel nodes already on the site, around the site, but just the fact it's not connecting. The fourth one is the equidistant from all the major parts of the city. Like you can, like you can see here. So basically, it's in the middle of the Salford, Trafford, and Manchester. So, sorry. Yeah, the opportunity what we felt is we can regenerate the older value what Pomona Island has had earlier, and just make people realize, okay, this thing can be seen in a different picture, this rather than just a residential value for that thing. The second thing is we can merge the context in the design. What we are blessed with the good edges with the site and the water body, so we can use that form to develop our design. And the third one, it can be a central hub for the city, because Manchester is a very big city having three different controlling authorities. So, and this part is actually in the core center of all these things, so it will be equidistant for all of them. The fourth part is it can become a eye-catchy element in the context, because it's having a good as we see in the earlier photos, it having a good angle from every side to look at that thing, so people can just admire that thing. Like in the context, there are multiple buildings like the Imperial War Museum and all these things. These are having the same context like this, and which is getting admired a lot. So yeah, the weakness, what I'll say is the thing is it is being controlled by multiple authorities. So everyone has a proposal for this thing. So this is very crucial thing what we are targeting on. The second thing is multiple areas. Yeah. And the second drawback is everyone actually proposed the residential zone. I know Manchester is, in fact, UK is running out of the housing part, and they want more housing to be created. But the housing can be created with the multiple different activities, so which we can consider as well as a part of development. The third is the security shortage. What we saw is there is no security around the site, so it's always almost dead every after getting dark, it's almost a dead part. And the fourth is we don't have the any access to the site in the core site. So basically for the development, these people actually block the entry from each and every side of the island, and there is no exact area from where we can get into the island. Now the photos and the analysis we have done from around the island, and maybe we could access only the starting points of the island, but not into the core. Uh, so we tried to take photos from the tram while passing from the tram. We tried to take photos from the Google Maps, and we tried to contact with the people, just let us in, but they didn't let us in. So I mean, because of something. But yeah, the fourth part is the threads. So developing contact. So thread is the contacts are already been developing. So we don't know whether we are proposing something, it will be taken in consideration or not, because a lot of architects and developers are already have their eye on the island for in terms of making profit. Uh, then there is a thread of ongoing construction. So there are 2-3 buildings work which is already happening around the site. Uh, the not around the site, in the site. The third is the area can be flooded in case of natural calamities. So actually we tried to see is this any kind of thing has happened earlier, but we didn't find anything, but we don't know its nature, so finally we should consider that thing as well. And the fourth part is industry and tram station noises. So we tried to focus this thing on more, because the tram station is really close to the I know it's a part of commute and we can use that part, but we have come with some different proposal for that thing. So in conclusion, we just want to say this site has a lot of potential if we consider each and every aspect properly. And according to the analysis, we got to know, okay, we have certain areas or targets to be complete while giving a proposal, which might be differing from the earlier other proposals. So the part 4 is the design strategies, what we understood from the earlier analysis from part 1, part 2, part 3. We tried to come up with some proposal work which we feel this can be a part of smart urban heritage principles, and also we try to implement all these things. So these were actually our initial ideas. So we initially, when we developed everything, we tried to have each and everyone's thought, because it was a group project. So everyone had their own thought about the island. Someone in the first thing, the first person actually wanted to make it as a central located pond part. In the second diagram, people wanted to connect the outer bases. In the third thing, the third person wanted to target on the water body and landscape. The fourth part, we tried to develop the site as a whole, the whole site as a sustainable thing. The fifth part, the person tried to connect only the green spaces around the site. In the sixth part, the people targeted the network system around the site. In the seventh part, people tried to connect with the inner and outer spaces as a loops. And the eighth part, people tried to make a green hub, each and every connecting each and every green part around the site. So we come with some solutions or maybe ideas what we think we can implement. So we come up with a transportation plan. How can we connect all these things together, and with some the advanced technologies. So what we have did, we actually cut the tram line from the site, and we proposed the BRT and LRT around in the underground. So, and we tried to incorporate other mode of transport like the water transit system, the PRT, LRT, and we focused on the pedestrian high line more. So if you can see, this is actually the context around the site, and we have sketched this thing, and we try to make this thing a more livable. How the same part can be converted into high line and use it as a commuting place, rather than just making it just turning this thing in a more smart way. So this is something which is called which we focus on the transportation routes. So you can see the current photos of the site, how the tram line is going, and what we are thinking of the high line, how it can be implemented, and how it will import the impact on the surround, how we can connect the green loop. You can see the islands. So this is the actual island, this is the high line which is passing. So I mean, this is currently the tram line, but we are trying to convert, we are thinking to convert this thing in the high line. So in the transportation plan, we actually have this is not we this is actually the social activities around the site. What we're thinking we can incorporate. There's the activity center, the commercial center, the cultural center, and the green hub. Four things we targeted, and we try to connect the green spaces, so it will become a green hub all over, connecting connecting by highline and by roadways and the BRT LRT. We try to achieve one green loop in the center, which will be beneficial for the environment as well, and to the site and the city as well. uh, so for the infrastructure, we have come with some different solutions like the energy network, wastewater. So for the energy, we targeted on some different facilities uh, like the electrical energy and then the heat energy, and there is also solar energy and wave energy. So wave energy is basically something which can be operated once the water is producing waves. So if you are providing the water commute here, it will produce waves and we can use the energy from it. So it looks like this, which can be get converted. uh, yeah. Then in the network, we have certain things like how the lines and computer and the Wi-Fi networks will be. So I try to incorporate some Wi-Fi stations like we already have in Manchester. Um, the third part is the waste part. So how we can target the waste. So in waste we have two different types. One will be the which is a dry waste, which is already can be used on the different part, and the wet waste, the water, which can be recycled and reused in the water. Reused as a part of site. So this is how the infrastructure system we are thinking about, how we can make it more sustainable and use their own resources as a part of the cycle to run. And this is how we come with a master plan solution. So yeah. The upper side is the north, and we try to have different areas in the site and some green loops and all these things. So the red part, this part is the high line, which is connecting the outer part. The tram line is getting connected to everywhere. The orange part is the commute part, what people prefer as a walking space around the site. So the first part, this part is actually being developed as a residential part. So we didn't try to actually turn that thing in something different, because it's already a part of residential. So we thought of making it more residential and which can be around the site. So this first part and this 8 part is actually the residential part, what we thought. The second part is the heritage hub. So in the heritage hub, basically we are targeting about the facilities to it kind of a digital museum. It won't be a heritage museum. It will be a digital museum kind of thing, in which we can have some films and everything. What people are coming here, they can take the tickets and be a part of that thing, and understand the history of the Pomna Island, understand the history of the Manchester and the Salford and everything, because this is kind of similar thing which is already being implemented in the Imperial War Museum. So this is a very contextual thing. So those people also didn't try to merge in the context. So like that. So this is something we'll try to make that thing in more digital museum kind of thing, which is being exposed to the outer part of the site, which can be connected from directly from here from Highline as well. So yeah. So once you see this part is being used as a public space for the skateboarding and all the activities, because we saw people are having a good interest towards the sports and activities. So we thought dedicating one space for the skateboarding here, so from which if we pass, we can come to a cultural center. So fifth part is basically our cultural center, where we can have some sorry, the fifth part is our commercial center, where people can have their businesses and all these things inside, so this site can be kept alive. And the fourth and the third and the sixth part, this 3, 4 and 6 part is basically a public zone, in which the third part is basically focused towards the water and everything. It will be an open space for public gathering and activities, which can be part of the amphitheater as well. The sixth part is basically the pavilion, what we are thinking, like the serpentine pavilions and everything, where we can have a indoor outdoor activities combined. And the fourth one is the complete closed public activities zone, where we can have certain public activities. The seventh part, what we are targeting, is actually the wetland. So basically it's very close to water, so we want the feel of a kind of jungle, urban jungle here, so people can see kind of jungle and come out, or come get into the site. Even if you are taking the highland, they can see there is a jungle down, so it gives more ecological value to the site. uh, yeah. So the ninth part is actually a retail zone, and we didn't try to actually change that thing, because we are having some arch defined structures which on which the tram line is supported, and we want to convert those arches into retails. So it will, which will lead to the the this okay, the heritage hub. So it is keeping some heritage value there, and we tried to connect these things. Uh, yeah, and the fourth and the fifth part, actually, these buildings are having the curved roof, which we can walk over as well. So basically, this become a part of commute, and this can become a part of activity as well simultaneously. So in the right in the middle of the junction of all the three authorities, this can evolve as a good site development. What we came across according to the activities. So these are kind of sections. Sorry, just one thing we missed. So even here, we try to make one underground PRT stations, which is just following the line. So basically, people can come here and get into the PRT and take the tram, or this PRT. We are thinking to join this thing to the Salford and Manchester. So we are evolving on this thing, how this thing can be connected. But the thing is underground, so we don't want any kind of noises of that thing, and we want people to be more livable in the, in terms of walking in their physical activities, not anything which is making some noise and all. Yeah, so we come up with this so the activity sections will be somewhat like this, so people can walk above it. The commercial centers can look like this, and the PRT can be look like this. The LRT can be look like this. So the Manchester Canal and the residential zone behind can have a feel of water body in front of them, and there is a Manchester Canal. So there is a the canal which is going from to and fro of the site, and yeah. So if we see the section, sorry, I'll just show the section line where it is. So this is actually BB dash. If you see, this is the BB dash thing. So I'll just try to explain the. Yeah. So here we thought the recitation could be more taller and can have more people incorporated. So these people won't intermingle in the public zones. I mean, not as in they can be a part of public zone, but not the whole residential things in the center. So they can have a proper public spaces in the center, and these people will be more beneficial because it's very close to them. Again, the High Line is very close to them, so these people can get into the podium and have their get into their buildings as well. So, and again, they will be having the PRT LRT stations down. So yeah. And we are having the 3 stops for the PRT LRT. So there are 3 different from the start, middle, and the end. So different areas are connecting to the PRT LRT. So in conclusion, we tried to connect the dots we thought we are missing from the existing development or maybe existing proposals. So we have come up with something. We don't know whether it's perfect or not, but we tried to incorporate the urban heritage, the smart heritage, and some sustainable things to be part of our design. So yeah. That's from
Thank,
our
thank,
end.
thank you very much. If you could, I think you keep the sharing screen, don't move, in case like Yuka or Franz want to speak,
Yes,
give
I'll
some
just
feedback.
go
Yeah,
on the first page. Yeah.
yeah. So it's up to you, Yuka or Franz, who want to start.
I used to live there, right next to the island. I used to live in Silver Keys. So many of the analysis that you're presenting makes a lot of sense to me. Because back in 2019, when I was living in South Key, basically after 6 p.m., I wouldn't be want to walk out, although the waterfront is beautiful, but it is not a very connected area, both socially and infrastructurally. And it is probably not the safest place for you to walk out to at night. So I think you've done a very comprehensive analysis, and you've definitely picked up the most urgent issue for people that are living there. So that's very well done. I think what you propose, particularly that part with regard to transport infrastructure and how it can change the living experience and how it can make the whole area more livable, makes a lot of sense to me. And I do think that's what's needed. But only advice as come from a formal residence in the area, I would want you to see more proposed scenario of how that will socially change the site, rather than just hardcore infrastructural transition. Because in my head, I would imagine many scenarios that benefits from your design. But currently, I think that's also because of time limits. You just talk about what you're going to propose and how that's going to transform the environment. But in the following weeks, if you've got time, do present us how that's going to change the local community and lifestyle. I think that will be very helpful and also highlight your contribution. But overall, I think this neatly presented and the whole presentation is very clear. So very well done.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks for a very comprehensive report of a very interesting case study. I've got lots of questions, but my first question is that at what stage are the project? Is this a final, or is this like an interim review where they're going to present their final project later on? So is this the final project?
We got, I think, another 2 weeks left before the final submission.
So they have time to kind of do a little bit.
Yeah. This is not just maybe this is the first draft, or so I think they still need more to do a lot of with the design proposal, more detail. So we still got time. I think another 2 weeks before the final submission.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more progress than a first draft, I think.
Yeah.
Just I really like the idea of, as Yoko said also, the issue of connectivity and accessibility is a very important issue and thing to address in that island. And I kind of like the idea that you are connecting it through more kind of smart transport system. But I'm also want to see like how you're also connecting it through the more sort of like day-to-day way of traveling, like pedestrian accesses or cycling accesses. How would that, or like even if you want to do a kind of scooting or using a scooter through that area, how would you do it? What are the key connecting kind of routes or paths? Is it only the High Line, or is it going to be kind of bridges that are more sort of more at human scale, or more like usable and more safe for kind of pedestrians and cyclists? So I want you to think also about that. The other thing is that you've tried to incorporate lots of uses within the island, and I think that's really important because then you could bring a more different sort of users and different interests into the site, and activating the site throughout the day and through the night, probably, if there are event spaces. And I like that idea that you're kind of bringing different functions to the site. But my question was why you decided to put the residentials at the two corners or two ends of the island. What kind of motivated you to make that strategy? And so if you could answer me, and then I will continue with my feedback.
Yeah. So basically, the thing is, it was already getting developed in the ages. So we knew one thing, okay, this thing is being developed, this thing is being developed. There are already two, three buildings here. There are already two, three buildings here. So we try to make one community within. So even if we are proposing some buildings, ahead of that thing, it will be a residential community there itself. So it won't be a if we put.
Grish, sorry, if you could put a plan, the final site plan, what you are proposing, and clarify what you want to do to answer this question.
Yes, yes. So here, here we already have some buildings. So we thought this thing can be developed till here. This thing can be developed till here. Like this is a building. It's kind of actually a part of Common Island, but it's already being developed there a few years back. Like we told that thing in the contextual analysis, and we thought this can be a community space. Sorry, this can be a loop for their development for the residential purposes. So they can have their community around like this, like the residential loop here, and the central space can be part of the whole city, not only them. I mean, I may be wrong in that thing. We may be wrong in that thing, but yeah.
Oh, there is no right or wrong. If it's based on an analysis, then and there's a justification to do it, then
So
there is no right or wrong. So
sorry.
that's
So
fine.
basically, we thought the central part is more dead, and even if we propose residential there, it would be a little silent in the end. So we thought that part could be more active. Like we have the multiple events in Manchester, and they don't even have. I mean, they have different spaces, but I never saw something behind sorry, under one roof. The whole city, maybe 500, 600, 800 people below one roof. It can be a part of football stadiums and all these things, but we just wanted a full community gathering, not only for Manchester, but the Salford and the Trafford as well.
Yes, of course. I think that's a great opportunity to do that, to kind of activate that area with what the surrounding and the context doesn't offer for the community or the visitors of Manchester or Salford area. So in terms of presentation of the plan, I think if you change the coloring of green spaces with the kind of areas that are buildings, then it's more legible because it's like looking at if what are the brown colors are the green spaces. So it kind of your plan should speak out itself. So I don't have to read the legend. Then the only reason that I read the legend is that, for example, I just want to understand the particular uses which you've done. So it's retail or it's residential, but the plan itself should kind of show the way that it's graphically visualized should show the kind of the key things within the area. So I could just easily see, okay, these are the green spaces. This is the movement network, which you've done it already. The movement is clear. But then I wasn't clear enough, like where are the buildings, and then where is the green space. So just have a little bit of thinking about that. But the overall master plan is nicely done. The other thing is the feedback is, I'll be quick. I know that there are other groups. I really like the idea that each of you took it and explored the different strategies that you could kind of design this whole island based on the analysis that you've done all together, or probably shared together. But I think there's a missing piece between the master plan and those multiple strategies that each of you explored. So there might be a kind of like a sequence where you kind of show your key moves, your key principles. Okay, this is going to be the movement network. This is going to be where we're locating the green space. It could be very kind of conceptual, diagrammatical, but then it shows like where the kind of key design principles lie. So where are here I'm going to show kind of locate the green spaces. Here I'm going to locate the kind of buildings, and here is the wet woodland, how these are connected together, and what's the rationale behind it, and how, because it's kind of responding to your analysis as well. It's responding to your key kind of thoughts. So I think if you add that missing piece, then when you bring the master plan, it makes a lot more sense, because now people know what are the key moves, and then, okay, this is a little bit more detailed sort of proposal of how the site could be developed or could be designed. Yeah, that's it. Thanks a lot again. Nice work. Well done, guys.
Thank you very much. Guys, are you recording this meeting so you have the comments being? Okay, good, great. I'll try to be fast. I'll give you some feedback also. I'm pretty sure like afternoon you should discuss it in detail with the friends, okay? But I want to give you some feedback from my feedback, because I asked you for many things, you didn't do it, okay? So if you go back before we see the previous presentation, you know the strategies like the urban heritage smart. Go back to these strategies, okay? But no, the previous section, the first section.
The first section.
The first section, yeah, the first section in your presentation.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
First section. Where is the smart principle?
Smart principles. They're here.
Not analysis. Free. Yeah. Yeah, this one. Okay. So from your presentation, like as a concept of a smart city, you are going to concentrate on smart living, smart people, and smart mobility. It's okay, but you can't say we are going to do just this. Okay, you need to say we are going to consider all these 6 dimensions in different way. The main one is living, people, mobility, but economy, government, and environment will be, and environment is very important because you're dealing with the environment. Sustainability is dealing with the environment. You can't leave it like we are going to concentrate on just this. So you should have a hierarchy between the main dimension in the smart city concept, and then the other will be in different, like slightly lower, okay? So, but don't say like we are going just to consider these 3 principles and leave the other. It's not right, okay? Again, even in the heritage, and it is the same thing for heritage principle and sustainability principle, okay? You are going to consider all dimension with their indicators in different level, but you are going to consider all the concept dimension in your projects, okay? But in different way. Is that clear for you?
Yeah.
Okay. I think, yeah, the presentation like clear. Let's go back. I want to talk about the. Stop sharing your screen. I will share mine, please.
Yeah, just a second.
So I can like speak which one. Yeah.
Yeah, which one?
Stop your screen. Do you see my screen? Stop your screen. I will share mine. Okay. Do you see that?
I'll just. Yeah.
Everybody can see that.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, as Franz said, like I think you need to consider the color layer. It's not about the color, but about how we can how your proposal can speak. Okay, how your proposal. I think we discussed before. Again, we should have, according in your concept, you have different layer of design strategy. You got the transportation system plan or layer. You got the open spaces. Okay, green spaces, you got the accessibility, you got the land uses, okay? So there is different layer in your concept. And again, we should see this proposal as a final after you collect all layers in one plan, okay? But each one of these layers should be designed in detail, okay? Even the open spaces, the green spaces. And again, if you see here, like, I don't know, This should be more green hub. Why it's in this color and there is just only here a green? I don't understand. We discussed this. All this should be a green hub. And again, why you cut your green spaces from this side and this side? All this, I know this is existent, but it should be part from your development.
Yeah, yeah.
You should not leave it like you cut like you designing till here. This is not our boundary. All this is part from your boundary, okay? All this here, okay? And even we discussed before, these here, you can suggest some new development from this side and this side, okay? Because it's the surrounding context is very important. And again, I want to give you something. What you did here, this is very interesting in terms of the design and the proposal. But again, if you leave just this for residential and this just for residential, and in the center, just like I think commercial, what you got here, retail area. We discussed this before. This will be a ghost city in the night. Okay. I said to you, even if you got some commercial space, just mix use. We might have commercial area and second, first floor, ground floor, but in the top, we should have a residential area. We have a shortage as a UK problem in terms of residential. So we need residential. This should be all mixed use. Maybe this is pure residential area, but here in the center should be more mixed uses to keep this area more active. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Also here, again, design language. You have here is very nice, but here is like, I don't know, it's different language. Okay. So you need even like for a future development from this side or this side, you need to change. Don't be afraid to change the language. Don't be, because you are proposing this for future development. Okay, so try to change the language. Try even the open spaces. Here still like there is no connection between this and your side. I thought all this green hub is going to continue from here, from this side and go there. Okay, and even this line, if you see this orange, you can make it a proposal. See, there is connection here. You can change the connection. You can change even like I can come here and go back here. Okay, so change the design. We'll talk about it in detail later.
Yes.
But again, still like you need more detail. And again, next week I want to see from you the detailed design of open spaces. You did some section, but we need some, like where is the pedestrian? And for example, if I make here in the pedestrian route, I need to see a cycle route, as they said, like maybe there is a scooter route and pedestrian route, and again, some green open spaces, sitting area, a detailed design. This is not enough, okay? This is could be and in the section, and you did well. The section is very nice, but still you just focus on transportation. There is other infrastructures which are that are most important part from how to achieve sustainable environment, how to achieve net zero carbon, how to create or added more a smart system to your project. It's not just about transportation, okay? It's about environment, people. We're designing for people. Concentrate that. When you talk about your design, talk about people, okay? The open space, green spaces, the environment, everything is about people, okay?
Yes.
Clear? So next week, I want to see from you a detailed design, different layer to all the dimension we have agreed: environment, people, green spaces, land uses. So many layers, and then I will see the final image. This one, before this is the final result, and detailed design, even for the residential mixed use. So you need to do a lot of work because there is nothing left, just 2-3 weeks to final submission. Okay. So next week, detailed design to your open spaces, to the whole site. Okay. I think, yeah, and I believe, please use your time this afternoon with France to ask some question about everything, about your proposal, how we can develop the proposal, how we can integrate our proposal with the surrounding context. I believe not just your group, the other group also might need the same thing. Okay?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. So, can we start with the next project?
Yes, but guys, just to give a clear timeline instruction, our submission date is the 26th of November at 9 a.m. We set it in the morning, so do not expect that you can submit your work 1 minute before midnight, because we thought if we give you a morning deadline, then we've got time to fix if there's any technical issues if the system fails. So do not count the 26th of November in, because in that early morning, you will have to submit already, which means you have approximately 2 weeks to finish your design, and definitely you need to use the last week to refine everything, to put it in the format. So that's my note on this. And yes, I think my group can start. So Dask, who's the first spokesperson?
Yeah, here. Sorry. 等一下。We will begin with Pengyu here. Sorry.
Hello, yes, guys. Sorry, guys. So don't rush it, since I set you the wrong time limit. And since our title is a bit interesting, which is not explicit, you might want to start with explaining the title, then go forward with your presentation. All right, I'm gonna shut up now.
Hello, everyone. Oh, I just say something about. Our project aim is dense, safe, and clean. So, because in our project there have three problems, which is dense, safe, and which is not dense, not safe, and not clean. So our project aim is to deal with these three questions. So I will start my introduce. Or is something different? Oh, this is our group members. We have 10 people in our group. And this is our contents. We now have 4 parts. And I will jump into part 1 as introduction. So this is our group project location. Our is located in Chengxiangli, which in Huangpu district is in Shanghai of China. And we can see from this picture, the north is Suzhou River, and it joins to the Huangpu River. And the south, we have a square called the People's Square. So we will introduce Shanghai from the course of history. In Qing Dynasty, we can see the east of our block, which called Yellow River Road, has appeared. And with the development of time, by the time Shanghai was colonized at around 1940. And the architecture of the whole area has been appeared. And after the founding of the public of China, Shanghai began to build a modern city in 1950, and Shanghai started to develop repeatedly, as we can see in these three maps. Shanghai expanded in a very short time, and then I will introduce about who live here and compare with before and after. From this college, we can see that at the beginning of the construction of this area, the people who lived here were very wealthy people, which like the family of doctors, first entrepreneurs, and early entrepreneurs who has joint ventures with foreigners. And with the time goes by into around 21st century, many people living in this area began to selling their homes, such as people who first get up with Americans and they maybe want to immigrate into United States, and some of them leave this area for better development or even if about the war. So they sold this building and to surrounding residents, which called Old Shanghai residents, we can see in this picture. And this area began to become more and more people living together. And nowadays, with many residents of renovated buildings still include Old Shanghai residents, and there are also many migrant workers who live here. Like this picture, because of their cheap rent, such as Meituan riders, which seems like deliver. I think in addition to they love this area and because of convenient location, existing house is cheap or there is no average living accommodation or the cost of the new place is too high, such as the high rent, the distance from the city downtown, and the inconvenience of life leading them to insistent on living here. And this page we will compare the population data of China and Shanghai. From the first four pictures, we can see that it's the same level as the national data with Shanghai. However, we can see from the healthy status of elder over 60 years old in Shanghai is higher than the national average, which may be related to the developed medical level in Shanghai. In construct, we also can see the proportion of elder people who can take care of themselves in Shanghai is higher than the whole country, which aggravates various problems by aging. And also the migration rate in Shanghai is also very higher than the whole country. And the last page we can see the problem is the injury of Huangpu district is very serious. This picture will show that in Shanghai, in one family, there have very few rooms, and the proportion of people living in Shanghai with a per capita living area of less than 8 square meters is lower than that of the whole country, indicating that the per capita housing area in Shanghai is relatively small. And at this picture, we can see that the Huangpu district is the highest average income of the whole country, Shanghai city. However, there is a small per capita housing area, reflects that maybe there is a great gap between the rich and poor in Huangpu district. And this picture we show the expansion and construction of Shikumen buildings in Shanghai since 1850 to nowadays 2021. And we can see that at first they began bigger and bigger. But at 21st century, it began to lose because of the population increasing and there no space for them to live all the estate. So they demolished most of the Shikumen building. And nowadays we can say there are only few area have Shikumen building. So we talked about Shikumen building. We will also introduce their history background. At the debate in Opium War, China and Britain signed the Treaty of Nanking, opening Shanghai as a trade port. In 1845, the Shanghai land chapter delimited the scope of the concession. The land was only for foreigners to rent, build, or live, and Chinese would not allow to enter. And at around 20th century, in the process of urbanism, the urban population is increasing, and foreigners invest the process of building or renting and selling house. So many foreign companies invited in real Shikumen, and they like to build more and more Shikumen. And many Chinese business or the government also joined into it. So in 1950s, it was calculated that there were 9,000 of Shikumen buildings, comparing 65% of residential housing stock by area in Shanghai. And after high incident commercialism swept the urban space again, income and outcome in 1980s, Shikumen, which was severely impacted by both, and become a social marginal space in city central. So due to supervisor geography location, nowadays Shikumen is more and more popular, and they have to be rebuilt. And next, we will Chen Lu to introduce more detail about Shikumen.
Hi everyone, I'm Chen Lu. I'm continue to talk about more about the Shikumen background. And you can see from this picture, Shikumen, old style Shikumen is actually the combination from the Victorian back-to-back house and the traditional Chinese Jiangnan house. Back-to-back Victorian house is independent of each other and share with wall with next door. And the Jiangnan is individual to adopt the Chinese high-density population. So this is old Shikumen houses. The structure of the Shikumen architecture, you can say, is built with the timber structure and a brick wall. So in the early time, it's easily to break out the fire. And so it's more detail about the new style Shikumen. It's now the new style Shikumen is also have some detail with Baroque Western architecture. You can see more detail on this stone gate. Yeah, this has some more beautiful gate, stone gate from the Baroque building. So this is Shikumen, meaning in Chinese, Shi it means stone. So this is most character of the Shikumen. And in plan, we can clearly see there's less washing and cooking space in the new type, new style Shikumen here. Washing, cooking space, those. So it makes less public space in the new style Shikumen. And also in that time, so more poor people want to live in the whole family is impossible. So the owner of the building use the slab to divide the one floor to provide more space for the poor people. So they call the second landlord. Yeah, and so the Chen Xingli is a kind of Shikumen building. It's also our site. and we want to deal with some problem in this site. So Chenxinli is built in 1934 and located in Yellow River. Because of the urbanization and also some lack of maintenance of Chenxinli, so the government want to public some politics to deal with some problem. For example, some one design for each household, and also set up independent kitchen and bathroom. But some elder people don't want to move out. Why? Because they want to gain money, and also someone thinks the area of the kitchen and bathroom is too small. It's about only 3.5 square meters. And also, if some residents want to have more space here, the other residents must to live out. So they don't want to like that. So they have some different different voices between government, residents. Yeah. So in the term one, about some 100 families go back to the new renewable city, but the term two is uncompleted because of different voice. And so why government and we also want to deal with this three problem in that site, especially under the COVID-19. So we can see clearly this is a Chenxinli residential area. Under the COVID-19, the 12 entrances were closed, and just 2 were open, there and there. So when you want to enter it, you must to sign up and test your temperature. And so this is have a big problem for the residential living here, especially for the women, because in the Chenxinli residential area, they have no private or public toilet in that area. They just the nearest public toilet has in the nearest public building, like the park here and the building here and building here. So it's difficult to come out to have into the bathroom. So for the women, there has no private bathroom for them to take shower, and also the residents must to pour their urinal into the public urinal point. It's obviously unclear and unclean and unsafe. And also the poor infrastructure, like the shared sink is used to wash vegetables and clothes. It seems to everyone to use this infrastructure, so it's not safe and clean too. And also, if have the COVID-19, the messy and narrow alley is difficult to evacuate residents when having an outbreak of the COVID-19. So it's a big problem. And from this problem, we have some methodology to start our research. For example, we read literature to learn about the history of Shanghai, the historical building, and also have some field trip in Shanghai to learn about our case study and have mirror comparison between these and learn about some research way, and also some analysis. For example, quantitative research and qualitative research have building density, housing area, like this. And yeah, this is our case study in Shanghai. Shanghai is before the 1930s is just the slums, and it's also not safe, density, and not clean. And after that, the architects inspired by the local architects and built a new apartment for the slums and rehouse them. But because of some narrow alley and the lack of maintenance, some drug and also crime happened in here. And at that time, the apartment was renewed by the government. So nowadays it has some like more mixed area in this space. For example, the studio and the different kind of house here. So this picture shows the different kind of people living here. In the early time, it's poor people's slums, and in the middle time, it has business people maybe and some workers here. And nowadays, it has students, teacher, and even though the designers, all kinds of people live here. Maybe because of the different mixed use of this space. So we think there has some common point and difference between this Park Hill and our site, Chenxinli. So there is some comparison between these two. So we can clearly see they also has a traditional site here, and also in the development time, they also want to increase the terrace area to have more space for the individual house. So it's also focusing to provide more area for the residential. In the nowadays, Park Hill has surrounding facility and more mixed use. But what about now of the Shikumen? So we want to explore how to deal with the Shikumen problem. And also from the history, they have some common. For example, they also have the cause from the origin. And from the origin, they have a traditional type house. In the middle time, it has a new development because the urbanization and the needs of people. So, but later they also have the stagnation because of the politics of government and also the lack of madness. From nowadays, it also has a rebirth time. For example, the Taipingqiao area is also another example about the traditional building renewal. But I think, unfortunately, Chenxinli do not find a great way to renew this, and Park Hill has found their way to have a renovation. For example, to keep original facade, but also just change some structure of the building, and also provide more area to the different people. Because, for example, some studio and the commercial area. So we think maybe we should have some way to study from the Park Hill. Yeah, let's move on to the part 3. So in that part, we will talk about more Chenxinli and analyze and explore Chenxinli and to begin our analysis.
Hello, I'm Yu Chen. Now I will introduce the analysis of Chenxinli and the design strategy. First of all, let's have a look at the figure ground of the Chenxinli area. Our site is in the center of Shanghai, and we have set an area of analysis that contains Chenxinli. And this diagram shows the infrastructure around the site. And as you can see, these two diagrams, most of the whole area is residential area, and through this pattern, it's not difficult to see that the residential buildings here is very dense, especially in especially in our site, which not only has a high density, but also lacks the public space and the building with other functions. And this two diagrams shows the road system and public transport facilities around the site. We can see that the transportation system around the site is very developed with a very dense road network and many bus stations. And apart from that, there are 3 metro lines pass through the site, so it's very convenient for the real life of the residents here. And through the analysis of the landscape around the site, we can see that there are some public green spaces and around the site, but because it is in the center of city, as you can see this this green land. This green land also have very large a large flow of people, and while there is no green space inside our site, and this heat map reflects that there are many residents in our site. And this map reflects our site lacks the public toilets, medical and sanitary facilities in and around the site. This slide shows the bird's view of 3D model, which can show the space are basically which can show the space of Chengxinli more clearly, and the building along the street. The building along the street are basically the mixture of commercial and residential functions, and the residence buildings inside. You can see that the buildings in the site are very low in height and basically 2 or 3 stories. But also very dense. And we also do case-by-case study of the buildings in the site, some of which have a history value and in good condition, like Daodali and Airenli. So in this part, we study the relevant national policies on historical buildings in Shanghai. On the basis of 30 years of construction, a building that meets one of these 5 elements will be rated as the excellent historical building. And this slide shows the more detailed ways to deal with the historic buildings. To the buildings with different requirements, it have different treatment, and it is the pattern of the requirement. For example, if the building meets these six requirements, which are the poor construction structure, and the construction was from the 1950s to 1970s, and it's set of the public workshop, and it have no repair or retention value, and it is government or city plan consent, and the professional detection housing safety identified as the dangerous or local dangerous houses, it will be demolished, and the building will be maintained when it meets these 4 requirements, which means the facade and the structure system of the building are well protected, or the historic parts and components of buildings have representative characteristics, and the original features and features shall be maintained during the construction, and And user intention survey means the tenants and owners of public housing for more than 2/3 of the total number of persons agree. And it's also the government and city plan consent. So this kind of building will be maintained. And according to the national policy I just mentioned, we have established a criterion for the buildings in the site. The buildings with the highest scores will be retained or partially renewed. While the buildings with the lower scores may be demolished and rebuild the new building or create the public space. As we analyzed the outdoor shared facilities in the site, first diagram displays the sanitation and water facilities. As you can see, people share the laundry, and they wash their dirty clothes in outdoor laundry and hang them on clotheslines in the land to dry them naturally. And they also share the tap in the land to wash their hands, hair, face, and brush their teeth. And in our site, residents use the urinal at home, and in the morning, they put the pots in the public toilets and clean their urinal. But as you can see, these sharing ways have many problems, like it's very dense, inconvenient, unsightly, and because they use they share the tap, so the water supply is short, and it's also very unclean. And people also share their kitchen facilities, like they bore water on stoves in the land to make tea or drink, and people also cook in the public kitchen in the land and eat at home. But it's very unsafe, inconvenient, and dense. And in Longtang, in English, Longtang means the land. People shared this land, and for elderly people, they do the sunbath, keep birds, and grow flowers and play chess. And for children, they play games and do homework in the land. For common residents, because in this area, maybe Longtang, this land may be the only public space, the social place for them. So they need to they chat with each other, pile up sundry, and stick some announcements, parking bicycles, dry clothes, and do some sports in the land. It also has these problems. It's very dense, unclean, slightly unsafe. Through the introduction of shared facilities, it's not difficult to see the problem existing in the site is dense, unclean, and unsafe. Besides, we also analyze the interior sharing facilities, like residents share the kitchen, hall, gates, corridor, and attic. At the same time, we asked the our friends to interview the residents of Chengxinli in form of questionnaire, compared with more private facilities such as toilet and kitchen. They are more willing to share the culture and the land. This also triggered us to think about whether the facilities in the site are shared or not to share.
Okay, let's move on to our design strategy. First of all, according to the relevant policies and the criterion system I mentioned before, we choose to demolish some buildings with low scores and put in new buildings or places. For example, we will demolish a part of Chengxinli that renewal in 2020 and build a new high density modern housing on it, and after demolish the Sancheng Farm and some part of Songbali, it will turn into a shared park, and because our site like the medical facilities and so it will build a community medical center after the Meiyuanchun is demolished. Also, we need to consider how to achieve the goal of safe and clean. We classified the activities of the residents into these three, which are better or must to ensure that multiple people can do at the same time, and people can take turns in the facilities, and it's better to complete in the presence of more than one person. For example, like using toilets, we must, and sleeping. We must to ensure that many residents can use the toilet at the same time. So we identify this kind of activities as the private activity. So after the transformation, each household will have a toilet, and public toilets for both men and women will be built in the public places. And for some like washing clothes and cooking, hanging clothes, we identify that the semi-public activities, and so the lanes will become more special and make it easier for sanitation worker to clean, something like yes. And in addition to demolish and rebuild some building, we also need to renovate other buildings. We have two strategies. The first one is the first one is to doing the addition, for some residential buildings, because it's very difficult to walk through. So we want to clear the areas of clutter, and residents are banned from parking bicycles and cooking, and the establish of two floor corridor so that residents can dry clothes or do outdoor activities here, like this section shows. And the second strategy is to do the subtract. For some buildings, we want to create a layer of overhead treatment. First, we want to create vertical space in the middle of building block and balcony space on both sides. And then the ground floor is treated on stills to provide new commercial space or shared kitchen under in it. We can increase the pounds. So these are the works of our group in these ways. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much.
闭麦的人鼓掌有什么用？
If you could, Franz, if you could start, please.
Okay.
Yes, keep sharing your screen. Yeah.
I'm looking at my notes. It was a very interesting case study, and like I'm a lot like unfamiliar with the sort of like Chinese context, so it was very interesting to me. I have a few questions and for you to kind of think about. So there, from my understanding, is there are like three key things that you went for analyzing and then providing design strategies for. So one was the actual kind of like keeping that kind of preserving the Schumann building type or like lifestyle as such, which at some point were kind of mixed with some sort of foreign sort of architecture from, for example, Victorian buildings. I think it was from the part where maybe during or before the World War where we got, but there is like that invasion of back-to-back housing that got mixed with the kind of like the old the Jianyan housing, and then the Shikumen housing was like kind of like created. Am I right? Hello, I've asked the question. So
Yeah, you got that part right.
Is this the history? Did I get it right?
Yeah.
So what I want you to think about is that, but that actually there have been lots of changes throughout time in terms of like the Shikumen houses. So I want you to think about the kind of the key characteristics that kind of represent the identity of a Shikumen housing or Shikumen lifestyle. Am I right to say that this could be also a lifestyle as well? Because the way that people share spaces, the way that they live together, it's kind of Shikumen could also be not only an architecture style, but also a lifestyle. Can we say that?
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I want you to think about the key characteristics that you want to preserve, you want to recreate through your design. Second thing is about the health issue, and the kind of thing about sanitization and cleanliness of the whole kind of area that kind of you want to tackle, you want to resolve through your design strategies. And at the end, I didn't understand that exactly how your design strategies overall throughout the whole area would be addressed by this issue. So is it only through all of your buildings are going to be designed in this same style to renovate? All right.
It's two kind of strategy of our site. So maybe in the later time we will choose.
So one is for the residential buildings, and the other one was for the residential and commercial buildings.
Yeah. Maybe sorry. Maybe this one is more commercial because they have more public space here. They have some stores or shared kitchen here. But this one is more like it's an old line here, and this two building is.
All right, I got the whole message. Are you going to renovate the whole site, or is it going to be the buildings that you've identified to be demolished?
Yeah.
So the buildings that are identified to be demolished, they're going to have private toilets, and they're going to have shared spaces where there are semi-public and private kind of activities being kind of provided a space for. And then what's going to happen to the existing buildings that you decided not to demolish? Is there any strategy for that?
Yeah, we also have some strategy.
Yeah, So for our project, we designed a high density modern housing, so we can have. Oh, okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. We have the high density modern housing. It means we can have more people living in this modern housing. It's more than before in this in Changxingli. So it also means the density of this whole site will getting down. So maybe after that, we could have more area for every family. So in our project, we will design for each family for in their home to have a private toilet, and but the space is not enough for them to have their private kitchen. So we want to have the private the public kitchen for the people who still choose to live in the old buildings, sorry, like this. You can see but we also got a question is this Changxingli building is built by rock and wood. So actually, we want to have the still-let building, like the first floor is not for living anymore. It's just for the public space, for public to sharing kitchen, because the sunshine for this site is actually is not enough because the land is too narrow. So we want to put the living plan like to the first floor. You can see from here. So the ground floor is just only for like public activity, maybe some kitchen. So we also got a question that we don't know how to deal with this problem. Is that is the construction is by wooden and rock. It seems so hard to to demolish part of the wall and make it to a public space. So we're still a little bit confused about this. Yeah.
You want to partly demolish some parts of the building in order to bring in more sunshine and bring in more like openness.
We want to demolish the wall in the ground floor actually. Yeah. Like like you can see from this, we want to make the activity plan to the first floor. Yeah. It can make more sunshine, and maybe for the people who lives in there, they could get more sunshine. Yeah.
Well, anyway, with this concept, there nobody in the kind of like ground floor area where there is like an open corridor for people to connect, they're gonna get sunshine.
Yeah.
Unless there's going to be a sections in the buildings where you're gonna kind of provide some sort of setback in the second or third floor where there is more openness and there is more sunshine getting into the whole area. So I cannot go into the more like the detail of architecture because out of my remit. I studied architecture, but it's been a long time. But from what I understood is that if you kind of covering the whole first floor for that shared space happening above, then it means that the ground floor where there's the connected corridor happening would not get any sunshine. So there needs to be an interval of openness where there is not all the way through the building the area is closed, kind of roofed on top.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or there could be some sort of materials that you could use, like kind of like glasses that are protective for people to walk on, so that you still get the sunshine, but you could still get that sheltered space. So I leave that to Mazin to work, because I think that's his area of expertise. But so I have like so many things to talk about. Well, like we can talk about it in the afternoon if you have more things. So some of the questions are out of my interest, but it's also good to think about. Do you know that in the historical kind of timeline that you talked about, there was a part when there was this initiative from the government, probably, where there was going to be public toilets Go back where you compare Park Hill to your case study. No, just a case, a slide before that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a disagreement. So at the final one, 2020, this project is completed because of the disagree from the residents in your case study. Do you know why that happened? It's a very complicated context because I think there are so many layers going on in terms of who owns the buildings and who kind of manages and governs the whole area. Is that why do you think there was a disagreement from the residents? They were going to have bathrooms, so their life quality were going to be improved. So do you know why they disagreed on that? What's the underlying issue? Is it in relation to money? Is it in relation that they didn't want to move because it involved people to be moved out and again brought back into the area? Do you know the issue?
Yeah, we have some information about this. It's because the elderly people here have lived here about about a long time here, so they don't want to move out, and because they have their daily life, they love this place. Although they're not clean, not safe, and for the other people, the renewable project is only provide small space for the independent bathroom and kitchen. It's about 3.5 square meters. So the bathroom and the kitchen is squeezed, and they even don't have the big space to have activities. And also the other elderly people want to gain more money. So the different voice. And also some residents do not think the term one project is great. Yeah. So they think it's not have the old Shanghai style. They think the new picture here. They think it's not my traditional building. It's
it was the disagreement was because it wasn't the kind of the style or the architecture that they wanted.
Yeah.
It's not about improving the whole area. All right, I understand. So you could just build that in because you just want to make sure that you're designing for them, for the residents who have the right to have a say in the way that you kind of design that. So I know that this is not a real life project, but this is something that you could build into your strategy, that it is going to be co-designed, for example, with the residents. So their voice throughout the whole design, the voice is going to be heard and be applied through the whole process of the redesigning. I also have a little bit of critique about your case study, but I want you, Kao, also to also comment on that, because we both lived in Sheffield, and Park Hill was kind of like, you were right in terms of picking Park Hill in terms of an area that had raised kind of like loads of issues in relation to safety and crime. But for example, your case study had more issues in relation to kind of like health and sanitization and cleanliness. The problem with Park Hill was because it was high density buildings in a very open green space. There wasn't any transition from private to public space. So people didn't have any ownership for like taking care or kind of having like active surveillance of the communal spaces that they lived in. So it was like, whatever that is outside of my apartment door is not related to me, so I don't care what's going to happen. And that increased the crime level. And that is called the concept which is like defensible space, whereas by Oscar Newman. Whereas in your case, I think the whole neighborhood is actually very much defensible because the streets are also part of their living area as well as their interior of the buildings that those people in your case study are living in. So it's very much defensible actually. It's too defensible that sometimes the boundaries between shared and private area is very much blurred. And that's what makes the whole case very interesting. So I want you to rethink, maybe add another case study that kind of addresses this sort of complicated urban fabrics that are being lived by so many people. It has so many ownership layers going on, so many kind of sort of private and shared activities going on, which is in Park Hill. It's a different thing. You either live or you just use or commute or just kind of pass the open spaces. Whereas in your case, in the streets, they are living in the streets most of the time. They're playing chess, they're kind of washing their clothes. Do you see what I mean? You get my point?
Yeah.
I know there are many case studies, and Yoko can also comment on that, for example, urban villages, if I'm right, in China, that has this kind of sort of complexity of land use and ownership and activities that you could build into your case studies to make it more rich in terms of really coming up with things and be inspired by case studies that are very much relatable to your case study. Don't throw away the Park Hill, because there are things that are relatable in terms of how they increase the kind of like the living environment, so to kind of bring in more sort of uses into the private and public sort of space. So yeah, think a little bit more about that. Do I have time to continue, or should I shut up? Mazin?
Yeah. Keep continuing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So some comments about the way you're kind of verbalizing your analysis. So for example, when you talk about figure ground analysis is that you look at, for example, you kind of make the whole urban kind of fabric, the buildings, whatever that is built up in a darker or brighter color, and then you leave out the open space as, for example, white. So in that case, you just see immediately, you could see, okay, what's the skeleton of the whole area? What's if you go further down to your figure ground titles, where you did your analysis. I don't know. I don't remember where. Maybe in part 3, I think. So when you talk about figure ground, you talk about the physical connection, the spatial connection. What's the relationship between the built-up area and the open space? Yeah, that's there. But when we move into talking about movement pattern, then it's not figure ground anymore. It's about, for example, access and movement. It's not about that. So when you talk about land use analysis, it's another sort of title on its own. It's not relatable to figure ground. So I want you to think about that. Just kind of kind of shuffle the structure a little bit. So when it's land use, it's land use. It's not under figure ground analysis. And then also for zoning analysis. Zoning analysis usually for example, in urban design, is talk about like more sort of land use. So this is commercial district, this is residential district, that's about zoning. But what you've done when you did the study of each type of houses in your site analysis, do you remember that? That's more about local vernacular. So where you're talking about the local architecture, each building, how are they built, and what are the functions of it? Is it 2-story? Is it 3-story? What's the material? This is about local vernacular. Okay.
Yeah.
My last question is, I really like the idea of you came up with criteria to either renovate, demolish, part renovate, part demolish. Why the number of people living in those buildings were a criteria for you to decide demolish or not demolish or partly renovate. It's like further down in your presentation. Yeah, that. Number of people, number of household. Why is it a criteria in your analysis of demolishing? I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I just want to know the justification.
Yeah, we understand like size.
Sorry, it's made by me, so I will explain it. Actually, it's a different kinds of residential areas in the Shanghai, just like the zoning analysis, because there are a lot of communities actually. So there are different numbers of the household. Actually, in the that we said before, that why a lot of residents disagree with the plan two actually is one of the reasons that they should move away from their original houses when the government is rebuilding their houses. So I think we should consider the number of households as an element to evaluation of what kind of buildings we should demolish or what kind of buildings maybe we should just a very single degree of the renewal. So we will think about the households then.
Because you know what? Because the higher number of people who are living in those buildings, it means that it's higher density. So if it's grading high in your quantitative analysis, it means that you are going to demolish the buildings that have lower density. So it means that you're not providing enough free space. I'm trying to justify the justification where you said you're going to build higher buildings in order to kind of move the density somewhere else and free up spaces somewhere else, to kind of bring back those, to kind of build in those public toilets or private toilets, bathrooms for the residents. So if you're scoring the higher density buildings high, it means that you are only demolishing the buildings that are lower density, so you won't free up space. Does it make sense? Because those people in higher density buildings are gonna be still there. Am I right? Did I get it right?
Yeah, but I think the density is also has a very different degree of in this in our zonings, because there are a lot of because actually so many there's just 3 buildings, so the number of households is maybe a little much more less than the Transcendent. So actually we think we will figure out what exactly the density of this a lot of communities. So maybe we will change that.
Okay.
It's more.
Yeah, all right. So just think a little bit more about that, because then I understand why it is important. But then again, if your key strategy is to reduce density in some parts, I mean density is like the number per square meter, the number per hectare of people of living in a building or in an area, then it might not fit your final strategy, where you want to kind of free up space by putting high density, high rise buildings somewhere else in order to bring back those facilities for cleanliness and sanitization. So that was my point. And let's keep it, let's leave it here. And then maybe in the afternoon, if you have more questions, we can have a talk about that, because I want Yuka and Mazin also to talk about it. Thanks, guys, for the time. It was very interesting, a very fascinating case study, and I think it's very hard to provide kind of like there's no one solution for all. It's like very complicated and layered to kind of tackle a case study like this.
Yeah. Thank you very much. From where I'm going to start, from here, from the same slide, there is many things. Yeah, your project is very interested. Like, I understand the challenge of the time in this this term is very short term, and for this project we need more time to figure out or find a suitable solution for this case study. I just want to ask, like, I'm not sure if there is a qualitative or a quantitative evaluation. These are methods. We use some of these methods from qualitative and quantitative to research or to analyze, to assess. It's not. I'm not sure if maybe I'm wrong. Is there any qualitative evaluation? Yukao?
I think so. I'm gonna answer this question also related to previous comments with regard to figure ground and zoning. As someone who knows the native language, I would say that some of the terminology are not precise because you tend to translate it directly from your Chinese language. Okay. So I'm guessing here that what they mean by quantitative and qualitative evaluation means that it is somewhat more statistical based, number based, and some are more subjective evaluation. But when they translate it into English, I think the terminology sort of get lost in English. Get rid of all that terminology, it doesn't really make sense. I would even advise you to get rid of that evaluation system of population density. Just focus on structure.
There is an assessment indicator will be better than I think.
It's going to be very clear.
Yeah. Let me start from your presentation. Like I'm starting from the beginning. We still got time until 1. Yeah, I've got. I think I just feel I lost in sometime from the beginning. Like I didn't understand which one. Where is your location exactly in Shanghai? When you start from as a city, a big city, and then you jump directly to the small block. Go back to the small block. What is the small? Yeah, location. Yeah, later. Next. Yeah. Again, yeah, Shanghai. Yeah, this is just wait. Why we dealing with this? This is like Shukman. Yeah, now Shukman. This is a block or a location?
It's a style, building style.
Yeah, it's a style of buildings because actually Chengxinli communities, there are a lot of Shikumen buildings in Chengxinli.
Just one question: is this a site or a building, a block?
It's not a site or a block. It's just the architecture style.
It's an architecture style. So it's like, for example, when we say Victorian houses and Georgian houses, so they're Shikumen houses.
So where is this style? Where is the location in Shanghai? Yes, it's just to stay here. What this represent? What this slide represent? This is the development of Shukman in the city?
Yes, actually we can see in the left part.
Just answer this question, please. As this is the development of Shukman as, I don't know, as a style in the city? And is this slide represent that?
It's a development, actually, of the Shikumen, I guess, in Huangpu.
Yeah, so for example, in 1950, this style was like, this is a small block. And then in the 2020s became, suddenly is distributed around a lot and then start to disappear. Is that right?
Yeah, because the government just choose to demolish a lot of the Shikumen building. So after 1980s, a lot of Shikumen building is being demolished and becoming like the picture shows that in 2021 that you see the last one. So you can see it's getting much less than before.
Yeah. Okay, and this is this represent which year? Okay, don't worry. Yeah. So again, yeah. So if we're talking about the architectural side, you should like is when you start talking about Shanghai as a city, then you should turn our direction, or you start focusing on your site analysis. I think this is not you need just, I'm not talking about your, and this is very good information, but I think you need to reorganize your representation, because later when you submit your portfolio, there is many tutor, they don't know the city, they don't know what you are saying, which one is your location. So I am like, this is first time for me, so it's difficult to understand where is your location, what you want to say from this slide. Okay. So you should have a hierarchy even in your presentation, how to deliver your information to the audience. Okay, so this is very important. But again, we need it's later, maybe with the buildings, with the architectural style, with the heritage of the area. Okay, but not here, not at late, just directly after Shanghai as a city. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. We will choose that.
Next, if you move next, just remind me. Yeah, and again, yeah, from this, I wish to see, for example, again, this is good analysis, but if there is a plan or section, more plan detail showing the main feature of this style. Okay, I don't know if this style or a character is still important in China or in this area or no? Because as I understand, if the government start to change this style, that means it's not important in terms of the architectural style. Is that right?
It's not means it's not important. It's just like Shikumen houses is built by the people before, so it means that the people is they not have the same of economic level.
Yeah, so for people. So the question now is: the government have a regulation to preserve this style?
Yeah, the government wants to protect of this style. Yeah.
So if they want to protect it, why the city like change over the years, like, and there is now very little area contain this Shukuman houses?
Because Shanghai has lots of people, and you can see from this picture, the Shikuman houses is the low density, like. Even is high density, but it has 2 or 3 floors. Is not suitable for the like the super city like Shanghai. It's not suitable for Shanghai to like for people to live in here, because
so yeah. Sorry to interrupt you. So I can demolish this style or this block or no?
So we just divided some of it, which is.
Just answer the question, please. If I am applied to the government, I want to demolish this building, they will approve my plan or no?
They will approve, I think.
So what I mean, like, this is nothing. There is no importance to this building. Is that right?
It's not important for the government, but it's important for the people.
And also, Shikumen is a symbol of old Shanghai, so it has their very unique culture value, I guess.
So is this style or this block important for the community here in this area?
Yeah.
But there is a problem on it. Is that right?
Yeah.
In terms of sharing some function together, high density. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Move next. Yeah. Yeah, very good analysis. Yeah, this is very good. Yeah, timber or yeah. Next. Yeah, yeah. Shikaman background. Yeah, these style. So, where is the location of this sectional plan?
It's not. It doesn't have a location. It's just the analysis of the all six residential buildings in this area.
Yeah, but you need, like, if you go to site, okay, you should pick an example from your existing site and show the detail of or similar to this Shukaman background.
Okay.
It's better. Otherwise, this might be in other location. So why we examine, even if it is similar, okay, but we need it from your side. You should focus on, you concentrate on your side, on your blog.
Okay.
Shanghai, I think the area.
So you means that we should focus on the Shikumen in our side, just in Chengxinli, not all the Shikumen buildings, right?
Yeah, I'm not saying you left. Maybe there is maybe different style in the other area, but the main thing is to concentrate on your side. Okay. We need to understand. For example, is all blocks or all building in your side in Shukaman style or no?
Actually, there are also old style.
Move next, and explain this to the site plan of. Yeah, now we're starting the case study. Now, this should come after the big city of Shanghai, okay? Because we narrow down our view from the big city to the small site, okay? Show me the site.
The site.
Yeah, go back. Yeah, go back. What is? Yeah, this one. So now from this side, where is the Shukuman building? Which one?
You can see from here the in the middle of the site, there are most of the residential buildings.
Okay, guys, I'll help you to explain this a little bit, because I think some information is kind of got lost in the narrative, which I will comment on later. But the whole site is a Shikumen residential area. Okay. So all the houses in the site, this is a Shikumen area.
Okay.
I think the presentations of missed the information on this particular thing, but the whole area is a Shikumen residential area. I used to be the majority of urban space in Shanghai, consists of about 65% of inner Shanghai. But before 2000, Shanghai's urban development sort of got rid of all the Shikumen houses, regardless of its architectural and cultural value. So in the recent 2 decades, it has been Shanghai government's priority to preserve these buildings, providing the architecture is still solid and strong enough to be redeveloped.
So we can't demolish any of these buildings?
We can demolish part of the building, providing it's too old or the structure is too rotten for redevelopment. That's why they have this evaluation chart, try to identify which of these Shikumen houses are too old for redevelopment and which of the building is still solid enough or with lower density to be preserved in compliance with government's preservation strategy.
So what is the assessment now for this location in terms of the Shikumen? Like, which one is the very low quality and we can demolish it?
That is their diagram of evaluation, which we previously commented on the quantity and quality evaluation. I think that needs further improvement in terms of presentation and narrative, but this is how they choose to preserve what buildings in the site can be kept and what can be demolished in order to release some further space.
Yeah, but what is on the site? You have the method. What is on the site? I want to understand, for example, in this location, it should be, for example, 30% we can demolish, 40% we can renovate, and maybe 10% we can, like, they are in good quality. So otherwise, I can design, re-demolish, or select this building. So if you move later, next slide. Next, yeah. So again, it doesn't mean anything for me now. This is just a math, but you need to connect these important information with the site. We are an urban designer. We are architects, okay? So I want to see how this reflect on the site. Next, move next. And this is not architecture analysis. You need to make sure with your titles. Okay, where is next? Next.
Is part for design.
So I think you got, there is a gap. There is a gap in your analysis. Okay, there is a gap. I can't understand. I should, if I were you. Okay, I have this small location. I think it's not too big for you. You are 10 students now. I think the block is not big. Okay, so I should analyze this location in detail, road by road. There is ability to for Google Earth to use Google Earth in this site or no?
Yes. So that because
just answer, please. There is no time. Yes or no?
Yes.
If there is yes, if I were you, I buy Google Earth, because otherwise you are going to say we are in Manchester, we can visit the site. If there is Google Earth, okay, road by road, I will evaluate. I want to understand the current environment. I want to live in this site. I want to critique this site. Otherwise, you didn't show me anything from the site. I can't decide, okay, which building is okay, which building we can renovate, which building I can demolish. Okay, you can't decide. We are going to demolish this block and build a new modern building. Why? You should convince me why. By your analysis, by showing the quality of the building, structure, people, community. Okay, is that clear for you? I'm here giving you these. I'm critiquing your project to help you, so you can understand what you need to do next. Otherwise, you can't design a project without understanding the full image, the whole story. Okay, you can't say I'm going to build a new building here without giving any reason. You need to show me. You need to show me in your analysis. You need to show me in this size how many buildings you can renovate, how many buildings you can preserve, how many buildings that very low quality, I don't know. There is, you should have a clear assessment. And then the architectural style. Is there all this document have the same architectural style or no, different? Or it is the same, I think the same feature, the same, or is different from building to another one? This is, I can't understand.
Okay, we will combine our evaluation table and the site map together, and we'll show the more details.
You should have a clear vision. If you find you don't have time to analyze all the site, okay, at least select a small block and show the type of the building, the height of the building. Take some images from this street. I can't understand the area. If I can't understand the area, I can't put a future vision for development as an urban designer. Okay? So be careful when you propose something, when you suggest something. Okay? And then when you come to go back to the design stuff, this is very good. Just keep this one. This is very good. But it's still like, when you decide this, why you start from this corner or this, from the right, left, from the right corner? Why? You need to answer why. Why those 3 or 4 buildings you are going to demolish? Okay? You need to give reason. Where you are going to house, how many people, how many family live there? How many family? You know?
Okay.
We will figure out. Because of the short time,
you can't. You are distributing people life. This area, as an urban designer, you should be like a surgery. This is not an empty area. You are dealing with people life. This is very wrong way to deal with people, with community. I'm talking now very harsh with you because this is about your future. You just by simple pen, you are changing the life of many people. How many residents in this area? You're not designing this area for yourself or for this project. It's for the community, for people, for the environment. You should be careful when you decide. You should have a clear plan. Okay, I'm going to demolish these 4 buildings, but at the same time, I will allocate these community in different area. I should say why I demolish these 4 buildings. In terms of the, you should show me the economic, social, environment. Why you keep it? Why you keep the same?
Sorry, I was moving the slides. They in fact did the analysis, but it is scattered in their presentation. So guys, so this and the image you just shown should come together so that we know you've done an evaluation rather than randomly pick buildings to demolish. You've also got another image that's scattered in previous presentation. I don't know why you don't make it a whole section, but you've shown us different architecture here. So you've shown us different architectural style and how these buildings look like. Then you've got that evaluation diagram, which obviously needs more work, but you've decided criteria with regard to which to preserve and which to demolish. Then you have that. So these should come together so that people don't get confused about why you demolish certain building in the site, rather than put them into different sections. Would that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, like now, you suggest this a new form of building. Is this going to represent? This is what people actually need? How do you like this block? I don't know if it is a design or just a proposal. So, what is your? Before we moving to this zone of design, before that, like again, as like if you have some information, you need to collect it together, and then you should have a clear plan. Like these 4-3 building is going to be re-innovated according to this analysis. These 5 building is going to be preserved because they are in a good quality. Okay. And these are low quality, you represented in the site according to the site. And this you should support it with some images from the site, okay, to show why you think this is very low quality, okay, or maybe in terms of construction, and we can demolish it. You should improve this by images, not just like, yeah. So just connect the information, okay. And then these 4 design strategy. Now I'm talking re-innovation, preservation, okay, conservation and re-demolish or refill. So all this is part from urban heritage or urban conservation design strategies. Is that right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is like a traditional location, okay? So I didn't see the connection between your design strategy and between dense, safe, and safe and the healthy one. What safe? What you say? Dense, safe, and
clean.
Any clean. Yeah. So what is the relation between these two? I don't know. If I were you, I will change my because you're dealing with the I'm not sure if it is like a heritage type of style, and these design strategies is related to when we deal with the preservation, with a historical site, a very important area. Government want to preserve the identity of the city. Is that right?
Yeah.
So still there is a gap between what you're doing, and I don't know how you are going to make it so dense. Are you going to reduce the density by this new block of building or no?
Yeah, we will reduce the density because of the adding.
How? So if there is, for example, 100 family live in these 4 blocks, in this new block, you are going to make it like 50 family living are going to live in this 2 block or this new building? Answer question.
Okay. Wait a minute. So we make the new high density modern housing is our strategy to solve the problem of dense.
Dense of community or dense of building?
The dense of community.
Okay, so are you going to reduce it or what? What you doing?
Yeah, we
the
want to
density?
reduce it. So we want to have.
Just wait. Yeah,
okay.
You said yes. So what about other people? Where they are going to go?
The people. We will have interview of people like as you may know, the people who lives in this place is separated into 2 parts. The first part is the people who lives in it, like we said, like maybe for centuries, the families who live in for centuries. So it's most of them is old people. They don't want to live in the high density modern housings because they are comfortable to live in the Shikumen building. And also we have mentioned before that our site is on the center of Shanghai. So another part of people who lives in here is because the low rent of this part is the people who don't live in Shanghai before, maybe because of work. So they choose to live in here because it's convenient and the rent of this place is cheap. So the new high density modern housing is for the people who need the convenience of this site and also have the need of like low rent. So that's the reason why we designed this new.
In these 4 buildings you are going to demolish, there's an old families living in this area in these 4 blocks.
Yeah.
So you said like they don't want to live in a new modern building. So how you are going to convince them if you're demolishing their building?
Convince them to move to other Shikumen building that we will also have the renewal of them. So they will have a better situation than before.
If they don't want, if those old generation don't want, why are you enforcing them?
I'm not forcing them. I'm just offer them a new choice.
You can't. This is very wrong way to deal with people. This is our problem in our cities. This is our problem. Urban designer, architects, they enforce communities to live in an environment they don't like, which is very wrong.
Guys, I'm gonna help you explain. I think you're missing the overall background of how things work in China and Shanghai. So it usually if Martin, you remember the picture that Shikumen building are being rapidly decreased in central Shanghai. So usually, the common practice is that government demolish these old houses, and original residents will be reallocated to modern flat building, which are fine, which are widely accepted and expected. But the thing with our site is that now the government decide to preserve it as a heritage, like urban historical heritage. So these houses will not get demolished and residents will not get reallocated like they usually will be did. But the issue is that the redevelopment program in this community is not successful because they demolished old house and built new houses that looks exactly like the old one. And within these rebuilt houses, they provide newly developed flat with private access to sanitation to the residents. And like the team mentioned, these flats are extremely tiny with a combined building area of 3.3 to 3.4 that's combined with kitchen and bathroom. That's why the program is stopped by local residents, because if they're to accept that they can't get reallocated to modern buildings and they will stay in the site, then they want something that's suitable for living rather than 3.5 combined building area of bathroom and kitchen. That is the background of their thinking of, get rid of some too old buildings and preserve some of the buildings.
Sorry, Yuka, why I became harsh with them, it's not about the project. It's not about the project, it's the process. They should learn how to deal with the heritage side, how to deal with the community. It's not about, I'm not talking now about, I know this is an academic project, okay? It's not going to be a reality, but this is as a lessons for you in the future, okay? So, and you need to be careful when using, I think the main reason why the government want to keep or to preserve these traditional blocks, because I think it's representing the identity of the city, okay? The identity of the old generation of community, and you should mention that, okay? You should mention that part from your representation. This is the identity of the city. The main reason I think is not about dense or safe or as France said, this is very safe environment. Always the traditional area or the most traditional area with the original or the old generation of people who's living, if the same old generation living here would be more safe, okay? They are more safe, and the relation and connection between different families, they are very strong, okay?
Guys,
and they are saying like they have some shared function in terms of kitchen. So I think there is some connection between them.
Now, guys, do you want to explain what safe means in your proposal? So it's not everyday safety.
Yeah.
But it's related to sanitation and COVID.
Yeah. Because we mentioned before, like how to control it.
Yeah. Again, it's like these three elements. Again, as I said, you need to make a platform between these dense and safe or the other one, okay? And your design strategy about re-innovation, preservation, conservation, okay? So you need to make connection and how your design strategies is going to respond to these three elements. Is that clear?
Actually, for the safe, actually we are not means the daily safe, because in this side there is not much like criminal or something like that in maybe in the park hill before, but actually it's about the COVID. This place that and we mentioned in order like the people need to like
to go to the public toilet.
Now you are talking about COVID. No, leave COVID. COVID maybe even if this is not related about safe or healthy.
It's about.
It's difficult. No. Keep COVID away. I think keep it, because even like the transition of COVID, like in everywhere, in the traditional places, in modern places, everywhere. So this is like now you are going to take us to different topics, which is very difficult. I know this might be one of the reasons. This is because they are all living in a small community, all families. The transition would be faster. That's okay. But this is not. You are not. Now you're dealing with the historic environment. This is the most important. We are not dealing now with COVID-19. I'm not sure if this is the aim of you. And are you going like from the new building? Who can say like from you proposing the 3-4 building, the new modern building is going to be according you are going to prevent the COVID-19 from transition.
Is
that Yuka? Is that right, or I'm misunderstanding the situation?
Yeah, I think there's kind of misunderstanding here. So these three things are related because it is super dense. It is not clean because people do not have private access to sanitation. So community urinal are shared. They have to queue in front of waste collection station to pour their bucket night pot. So this is a dense and safe clean means. And we're talking about safe because we're considering a post-COVID time where everyone needs to have access to water and sanitation, to wash their hands, to use the toilet, to keep a social distance. But because of the dense issue here, it is not feasible in the site. And because they currently do not have access to water and sanitation, it is unsafe for them. So it is not safety about robbery or other minor crimes, but it's safety about everyday living with regard to the density and sanitation access.
Yeah, but this is should represent the infrastructure system, because we know all the traditional places the infrastructure system is very old, it's an old area, so it's require a new infrastructure systems, okay, to improve the quality of life. I think I think they should avoid for my I don't know. COVID is not just about the disease or health. Yeah, if they want these traditional area, as I said, they should focus more about the preservation, these principle, maybe provide more new infrastructure system, more develop the existing environment. Okay, I think the way they presenting is far away from, as an urban designer, what we need to do for this area. Okay, and if we move later, again, you should be careful. Okay, next, when you suggesting this blog, the designer blog, again, in the next stage, I think you need to say how this is going to work, the new design proposal. The new blog is going to work with this traditional environment. Okay, and what type of design you are going to suggest? Again, how this block after the redevelopment, you select a smaller block, okay, and you just again, you just deal with the building. What about the surrounding context? What about open spaces? Okay. You should deal with the infrastructure. I think you need a lot to consider, not just building. People not just need a building. As you said, they need sanitation, new waste management, clean water, maybe energy system. We're talking now, all the world is about the zero net carbon. How you can make sure this is a sustainable, or how you can respond to the sustainability principles. So you need to think about, as a group, about sustainability principle. Even these traditional places, they represent the sustainability principle in some way, but you need to think about how to preserve it, how to develop this environment. And I think even when you suggest later, suggesting closing these narrow areas, this is, I think, it's very wrong way to change the built environment. You are saying different thing, as you discussed with France. In some way, you want to open the ground floor to these narrow paths, and at the same time you are putting a cover on the top to provide some sitting area for people. Go to your section. Go to your next section. Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
These two sections, I think, we're talking about re-innovation. If this is the way how we re-innovate our traditional area, is this section represent the current environment? You need to be careful. And again, as Franz said, there is here, when we design, when we deal with the traditional places or or similar to this environment, we need to understand the hierarchy of between public spaces, semi-public spaces, private places to semi-private, from semi-private to very, very private places. This hierarchy, you should understand this knowledge when you deal. And again, I know you are still at the beginning of your, this is just a sketch maybe, just it's not, maybe you can develop more, but as a group, you need to be careful when you propose something, especially when we deal with a historic environment or traditional places. We need to be like a surgery, not just an urban designer. We need to be very careful how to deal with buildings. Okay, again, you should say again where you are going, how to. I don't know. I think you need to reconsider your proposal again. Develop, understand the location. You might understand, but you might didn't present it in a good way. Okay, to us. So clarify your representation. Again, the surrounding, you're talking about the small, this is Champs-Élysées, the small zone, what is they call it?
Yeah, Champs-Élysées, yeah.
Yeah, so again, how we can understand this context with the surrounding, with the big context when you develop. Because I think there is a big issue, not just, this is going to be an example. So again, when you develop something in this location, you need to consider the surrounding also, the surrounding context.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be careful. I think you are not, this proposal, like it's just a sketch still. It's not clear. Okay. So be careful from these principles: re-innovation, refill, preservation, conservation. You need to be careful how to use it and where and how I deal with the community. Okay, and there is many things you need. I need many times. So, but start stage by stage. Maybe afternoon with the friends, maybe can give you more feedback. Just be careful. Also, I believe like you can maybe within the next 2 weeks, like can rechange some of principle or try to integrate between the safe and with these heritage environment. If I were you, like I would call this like more related to the heritage principle, heritage environment, more than safe or nuclear. I don't know. Yeah, this is my view. But yeah, you still got time to redevelop it.
I think, I agree with many of Martin's advice. I think overall the narrative need to be reorganized. For example, when we talk about what buildings to demolish and what to be kept, your information is in fact all there, but you're somehow putting them into different sections, which is confusing for the audience. For example, this should be related to your previous evaluation of buildings, then it should also be related with your demonstration. So this and that, and this should all be in the same section so that we know you're not randomly picking buildings and to be demolished. But I stand with my point that I think this is more of a social project rather than heritage project, because the common practice is that, I think you kind of missed out in the introduction part. So the common practice is that if the building are under certain criteria, if it's way too old or some essential infrastructure are missing, then it is the current preservation rule to get rid of them, to demolish them. And this is why we developed this evaluation system. So I think it is still more about everyday living quality and infrastructural access rather than pure heritage projects.
But we're dealing with the, sorry, Yuka, we're dealing with the heritage environment. We can't neglect that from when we deal with a project, yes. We are an urban designer. If yes. This is the social context projects, okay, we will deal with it in different way. So
yes, that's why
you are using, so the student, they are using the principle of urban conservation, and then you're saying like it's not about urban conservation.
That's
So
why
if it is about social context, they don't use the principle of urban conservation, re-innovation. So there is confused. Like you need to clarify your project, I think.
Yes, but this is exactly bearing this preservation in mind. This is exactly why we're not demolishing the site like the usual practice usually do. That's why we developed the evaluation system to decide what buildings are of higher value to be preserved and what can be demolished.
Which one? Now from these, I can't like, this is like just selection.
We've got that in that slide, which I commented, as I think the information is a bit fragmented. But in this slide precisely, they are trying to tell us what buildings are of higher value and will be preserved as heritage. So we're not demolishing the whole site.
Yeah. I think yeah.
I mean, I get that heritage preservation is extremely important, but it is also extremely common that some buildings or architecture fabric are not identified as heritage because of their value. And I think what we need to do is to carefully decide which buildings here are of that value and which are not. And then we can release space within the area. But we are not demolishing the whole site. We're doing this conservation strategy to select buildings. But again, I think the narrative is not clear enough to explain
for me, I don't mind if you're demolishing the whole site or one building, but we need to understand why we demolish this and why we preserve this and why we can
they've got that evaluation form and pictures attached. That's their strategy. But like I said, they should have put this in the whole section to tell us. And this is the current practice with regard to Shanghai's cultural preservation practice. So all this information should be in the same section, guys, so that we don't get confused about, what you're doing.
Again, I think you can, not just for your group, also for my group. This is an urban design project, okay? This is an urban design project. Till now, even my group, I didn't see any urban design projects. It's still like, we still at maybe at the research part, okay? And we still like doing the research part. An urban design project, we need to see the detailed design of the location. We need many sections showing the infrastructure, the open spaces.
That's in fact one of my comments. I think the narrative here is in a very odd order. So your site analysis should be way in front to tell us the spatial and geographic location of the whole area. And I think the overall presentation of these maps, they are surprisingly small, which make it not very urban and architectural like. So each of the maps should be whole page so that you can present sufficient information. So what is this land use, where this is about, what's the relationship between the site and its surrounding. And all these should be in the very beginning when you introduce the site.
Yeah, if you stay like here, like you got the same one, for the site. Yeah, here. I'm just wondering why they took the top one. What is about the down part? Why they analyzed this with the river? What about the down? It should be with the surrounding context. If I were them to analyze the land use, it should be the surrounding of my location, not just the top part. Understand what I mean?
Example is, shall I jump in? I think he's right. So if you're looking at the context, then for example, if you're focusing on a site within 1 to 10,000 scale, and then looking at the site analysis or 1 to 5,000 scale, then for example, if you're looking at the context, you zoom out and look at the site within its context, for example, depending on the scale of site within 25,000 to 30,000 or 50,000 scale, so that you see the site within its context and how it sits. What are the key forces that are important in terms of connections, in terms of land use, in terms of functions that are important to this site and could kind of like give us clue of how we should kind of tackle the issues within the site. And then we zoom in and look at the site and the kind of the conditions of it. What are the movements, the access, kind of how people navigate through this. Like there is these little alleys. Each of them are really important, which was the missed part. Kind of I stopped talking about it, but now that we were talking about urban design, there is this kind of, you go into the interior, which is fine because it's architecture and urban design, but then what's happening within the public space, spatially, so we're looking at on plan, what's happening is important to kind of graphically show in your analysis, because then it would kind of have an impact in the way that you're deciding what to demolish, what to keep, because that's already in relation to the open space, the movement, the kind of how people use the open space. Sorry, Mazin, to jump in.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I think just like with the surrounding context, like is more like now I can't understand why you took the top part without the second part. So when we took a side, is that right? You can.
So the one with this little cross is in fact our site. So in a way, I think they are including certain surrounding. And again, I think the narrative really need to be reorganized. These areas, I'm guessing their thought. So these areas are being highlighted because I asked them to do a comparison of different heritage preservation practice in the area. So these surrounding highlighted colored area are all old residential area being redeveloped into different practices and having different outcomes. So I want them to do a comparison to show that how our projects is different and what kind of precedents we're based on. But I guess like when they present it like this, it's a bit confusing. Look like we're just analyzing this colored area.
Yeah. And again, like they need to say the outcome from this, like what is the result and how this is going to inform your design proposal later. Because now, okay, I can understand the different land use, but this how is going to inform what is the output of this analysis. Okay, I think we exceed the time. So again, for the two, as I said, like for the two groups, even my group, like I can't see till now an urban design projects. Okay, it's still not clear for both of them, and you got time. You still got 2 weeks left. Okay, I wish from both the group to work very hard. Okay, a clear design proposal, like dealing with the urban environments, blocks, infrastructure system, open spaces, people, community, dealing with this. Show us a clear design proposal. Okay, we need a clear design proposal, and it's clear from the current situation how we can deal. We propose something. It's not just for this location, but also with can improve the quality of life for the whole society or for the whole surrounding context. Is that clear?
Yeah.
And we need a detailed section, plans, everything in detail for different layer. It's not just about building. We are not doing that. You can zoom later about the architectural one building in detail, but first we need to understand the whole layout. It's not just the building and the surrounding context. Okay, even the same. This talk is for the two group. Okay, when you propose something, you need to consider the surrounding context, the environment, everything. Okay.
Okay.
Any question? Sorry if I am harsh with you a little bit. It's okay, but this is, you should like. This is how we should. I don't know. Maybe how we, because there is no time, and we need for you as a project. With the aim of this project is also to learn how to deal with people, community, environment. Environment is very important. The environment. It's not just like dealing or redevelop the building or develop the urban context, how we can protect the environment. Okay, any question? I think you afternoon, like we will now it's yeah. So we will have 1 hour break. Okay, I think me and Yuka will not be there. Afternoon, the two groups, okay, will join the same meeting link with the France, okay, and you can discuss your project, ask question. I hope just more you can concentrate your discussion more about the concept, the design developments, the urban design, okay? The analysis, the research presentation, we can develop it later as a group with us as a tutor. But I wish from the two groups to concentrate more on the design proposal, what we need to do, how we can improve this location, how we can improve this built environment, okay? What design principle, what design strategies are we doing right? Are we in the right direction or no? Okay.
Yeah, cool. So for my group, I really want to sort out this narrative thing. I think the logic flow need to be fixed in order for information to be, sharpened out. So can the whole group come to our usual meeting space at 2 o'clock? So our usual meeting, dance safe clean group meeting space. I will give you 20 minutes to give you my feedback with regard to the overall narrative structure and how the logic flow shall be shaped. And then you can jump into this meeting room and start your dropping session with Farnaz. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, I will see you at 2 o'clock.
Okay.
And the rest of you, I hope you have a very interesting afternoon with Farnaz.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. You can stop sharing your screen. Thank you, the two groups. Thank you, Yuka. Thank you, Parnaz.
Yeah. Enjoy lunch, everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks for the
All right. So what time should I be there for the dropping session? If you could just
after 1 hour.
I think let's say 2:10 then. My group will arrive a little bit later because I need to give my feedback. So I guess you're dealing with Martin's group first, but then I guess it's a shared dropping session, so everyone can just pop up question if they have any questions.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. If my group stay in this room, like I will talk a little bit with them. Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
Right. So see you later, guys. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Yes.
他邀请马老师去他们的那个组讲20分钟。马老师要跟他们参加线上讨论，他们组没有办法线下对谈嘛。
Okay. Just my group can stay here if you please. Yeah. Yeah. So I think your presentation is very clear, but I'm not happy about your design proposal. I think you're missing a lot. There is no detail. I didn't like the images before and after. It's not the right. The quality is not good. Okay, it's not. If you could, one of you share the design proposal. Go to the last. I think the research part is okay, fine, but the design proposal, you missing a lot. Yeah, go back to this. This is good. Yeah. Here is again. What you mean? Like these different layer on the left. Okay. Which one is the like PRT, LRT? What is this? What is these layer? Highway system. Why are we dealing with the highway system? What is this? It's for cars? pedestrian system, PRT and LRT. So it's not clear. It's not clear. What is this is Highline Way system. What do you mean by this? Somebody answer me.
It's just the High Line, what we converted from the tram line to the High Line. Yeah. 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 The people just can walk above it and can cycle.
So what is the difference between Highline Way system and the pedestrian system?
Yeah.
What is the difference? No answer? It's not clear. I think you need to
The Highline Way is used by bicycle and jogging, and the pedestrian.
Yeah. If it is for cycle, just call it cycle system. Cycle system. Okay.
Okay.
Cycle system. Pedestrian system. PRT and LRT should be. This is two different systems. You can't put it on the same one. You know what is LRT? LRT is buses, big buses. You can't put PRT and LRT in the same system.
Okay.
You should have these are two different layers.
你得把它分开，它不同一个隧道。
Is that clear? Go next.
是你们能把麦关了吗
Could you guys mute your place? Yeah. So for the LRT and the PRT, we are using separate place. You know.
Could you please just use one computer? Don't use different. Just one computer, please, because the voice.
就用一个，你们能把那边的关了吗？或者是咱们就开一个？
对，其他的麦和声音都关了，就开一个人就 OK。
开一个。We didn't use.
Yeah, this is not. I think you need to this is not good. Okay, I didn't like it. This is not the way the quality of presentation is not good. It's not professional. Okay.
Yeah, it's just a sketch for the concept, but we won't use it in the.
Yeah, but
one.
I'm not sure. You need to. It's not good and not good quality. There is no section, no plans. It's like even I don't know. It's not good. Okay. So read to design it. You need to see the examples. You need to see a clear plan, clear section. It's not just photoshopping and by putting some green area. Okay. So this is not a good quality. This is not what I want to see. Okay, from you. You can do better than this. Okay. Next. Again, we still what are these? Commercial center, culture center, greenhouse. So why you talking about transportation plan and this is different land use? What is the main reason of this? What you want to say from this? I know you want to connect transportation with these different land use, but this is not a transportation plan. First, I think as I said, you have a transportation system with different layer, land use with different layer, and then when I see the full image with these different layers of one plan, I think there is no meaning from this slide. Anyone? You want to clarify something? No? Next. Again.
So may I have a question for back to the transportation? Yeah, I think if we layered it all in one plan, it would be messed up, you know. It would be too many things in one plan, you know. It would be so mass, and we cannot clarify which part is which part and what is what. So we want just to separate in different function, like the different group, like the transportation in one map, and then the zoning in one, the land use in one map, and the infrastructure in one map. So that's what we're talking about. Yeah, we were
but here, what you're trying to say, it's about land use or transportation?
Yeah, and we just made a mistake for the title. We will fix this later. Yeah, this is the land use map. So yeah, that's our. Yeah. I understand.
Okay.
So this.
But again, if you go back, like.
上一张
Go back. This is commercial center, culture center. This is like. No, not this one. Not this one. Don't show. Yeah, this one. Yeah, this one. Yeah, a green hub, culture center, commercial center, activity center. So what is the type of what I mean by activity center? What I mean by commercial center?
It's just like a place, like studio. We just offer for people. The people can set up, like decide what they do by themselves, like a.
Yeah, but if just wait. If this is like, as you're saying, like this is land use map, okay? Where is the residential?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Where is the mixed use one? Where is the open spaces, green spaces?
Yeah. Actually,
I think this slide is not clear. It's not representing anything. I can't understand anything from. If this is about land use, I should see the residential, and then this activity center and culture center. It's the same, or maybe I don't know.
Yeah. Actually, this page is not about transportation plan. What I want to present is social activities. What activities people can do in these different areas. For example, in activity centers, people can do some comprehensive activities in these open spaces, in these buildings, and community centers building can shopping, and cultural centers people can tour this heritage building. Yeah, and in this green hub, people can reading, can walking, can do any activities. Actually, it's a social activities analysis.
Yeah, but it's not clear. It's not clear.
Yeah.
It's not clear. And even if this is what you're proposing, and just keep it. If you're proposing this for the land use, okay, you should mention, like, for example, the green hub, what this represent and what is the percentage of this location, okay?
Okay.
So this is not clear. You need to figure out represented in different way. Okay. Next.
Yeah. Okay.
Green spaces plan. What is this? This is a connection between different green spaces, but this is not a green spaces plan. Green spaces plan, when we go to the zoom in to our location, we should see the detailed design of open green spaces part from our design.
Yeah, actually, about these pages is the future trend. You can see on the right of these pages in different years.
Just wait. Yeah. I'm a little bit angry today. Okay. This year, when you're talking about the green spaces plan, okay, this is not a green spaces plan, please, okay? Later, when you have a clear design for the open spaces in your location for Pomona, okay, you are going to show me how you design the green spaces in between building, okay, in your location in detail. But what you're showing me now, how to connect different green spaces from location with the surrounding context. This should be more clear with the transportation system. When we have pedestrian, when we have cycle route, when we have the LRT or PRT system, later we can say, by this transportation system, we can connect these different. Maybe from the pedestrian route or cycle route, we can connect the open and the green spaces. Okay, is that clear? It's not a green, just what is the title? Show me the title. This is not a green spaces plan, please. This is not, there is no plan, there is no design. You are just trying the plan to connect the different green spaces. I think there is some misunderstanding when I talk. I told you it should be from transportation system plans. When you suggest a new pedestrian route or cycle route from these new route, I should move from this location, from my location to the other side to reach this part to this open green spaces. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Combined with transportation system.
Again, here, infrastructure system. Okay. Energy, waste management. It's okay, but it could be better. It's okay. I don't know. Okay, next. Yeah, again here, listen, we just jumped from these and then here to this. Where is the process of the sketches of all these layers? This is like, and again, when I talked to you last week, we need a mixed use, Why you just put green residential area on the corner and left in the middle, okay? Like for, I don't know, centers, retail. Again, what is retail? What is the retail? I told you to do a mixed use. What do you mean by retail area? And what is this high line? Again, what is the high line? What do you mean by the high line? It is the pedestrian. You got pedestrian here, the other. What do you mean by the high line? Cycle route? Someone.
Yeah, actually, the retail is spatial spaces under that bridge. You know, there are some arch under the bridge, right? So we make use this arch spaces to do some commercial, small commercial.
Yeah, but you can't do it like this. Like I think the presentation, like also this, like even like what is the high line? You mean the bicycle line or what is this? The high line?
Highland 是什么?
Highline is bicycle line and for just like a liner green space, a liner park.
Yeah, but this is the highline and pedestrian route. All this, it should be, when I make a section, this route is for cycle, okay? This is for pedestrian, and there is some area for sitting area. And all this is one line. They don't call it a highline. You can call, like, for example, you can join these two, both, okay, as pedestrian and cycle route.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Yeah.
And when you put the retail area, again, you can't like cut the line for this route. If this is going to be underground, keep it underground. Don't show it like that you are cutting, because now, as I understand from when we zoom in, you are, especially when you put the 9, it's like you are cutting this line. Okay.
Cutting which line?
Sorry?
Sorry, we don't know which line are you talking about. You said cutting the line.
Okay, stop sharing your screen. I'll share mine.
Stop sharing.
This is here, okay? This should be continue. If there is a retail area and under.
That's continued.
Yeah, that's continue.
Yeah, but you here, yeah, it's like you cutting this by a green one.
It's just a function array.
Yeah, but it's not showing. It's not showing. Presentation is not clear. Okay, and as I said again, Here there is some interested building. You designed these buildings, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, and there's something here interested. I don't know why you use different language from here. Why you develop this in different language? You should use the same language. Even this, you can use the language all in the same, all the park and all your location here. Okay, and you should also continue with your design here and go over. Why you cut it from here and you cut it from here? Even this, if it is existent building, okay, this is like a green, the new green hub, a green floor. You might cover also these building.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. You can change it, and even the language here. And this, I wish to see. Maybe even this is coming from here and might become like a curve till here. Maybe we'll join. Where is God? It's God. Just wait.
You mean make the High Line way come through the canal?
Just wait. Let me go back first. I want from you to use the time afternoon to get some feedback to this proposal. Don't talk about the presentation. Why is this going like? You don't have time. You don't have enough time. Like you need to work very hard, please. Okay. And this is like just it's not an urban designer proposal. We still need many detail about these building, about section here, detailed design about the open spaces, very clear design. Okay. So what I'm saying, like what is the question? Say it again.
You mean we should make the High Line way come through the canal, right?
This one?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. I don't mind. This is very nice, but you can make like, and again you can connect it from this side, okay? And okay. you might also from this line, because this is also a pedestrian, I think, line. This pedestrian and cycle route, okay? So both you can join from here and make connection from here, okay? Continue with this more, continue the green spaces, green spaces with the surrounding area, all this like empty, just like try to put some green spaces. This is how you extend the design proposal. And again, here it's still like, it's okay. I see some interested like design, but it's still not clear. Not clear, like you need to develop this plan in detail, okay? Mixed use, don't use like here, like, what is this? Waterland. Again, all the same color, retail, waterland, plaza, garden, green spaces. Just like reduce the amount of different color. These could be two, okay? Garden and green spaces, what is the difference? And open spaces, all these three might be, because open space, green space is the same.
Okay.
Wetland, what do you mean by wetland? I don't know. Yeah, is that clear?
Yeah.
We need a detailed design more. We need like even the section is nice. The section like you just put the PRT or LRT. Where is the other infrastructure system? Where is the other detailed design? So next week I need more plans. So develop the site by putting all these as a mixed use, okay? To make it more active, more residential area. Use the same language. Maybe they are okay, but the same language you might put for the future also here, some green spaces, okay? Continue with this open green spaces. I need detailed design. When I make a section here or here or here, I need to see the detailed design. Is that clear what I mean by detailed design or no? If not clear, just let me know, ask me. So when I make a section, this detail is for cycle, the cycle, material, road, the height, the difference between section of the pedestrian, and there is some sitting area, there is some tree, and then I should have the plan showing the cycle route, scooter route, pedestrian route, some sitting area you design. It's like you're designing the area in detail, okay? And again, I didn't see any 3D vision. You designed this without any 3D? Have you got any 3D? I just see the section. So you already, I think this is, you did it by a 3D. Is that right?
Yeah, from model.
So why you didn't make any 3D vision?
3D.
Yeah, we have 3D, but we didn't put it on the presentation maybe.
Why?
Yeah. So can we share the presentation again?
You need to have your lunch. I'm sorry, because you are going to meet again. Please spend your time with the friends to talk about your proposal. Don't talk about the site analysis research, just about the proposal, about the design strategies, about how you can develop this proposal. Okay, show me what you have done. Yeah, share your screen fastly. You need to go to have your lunch before you join the meeting at 2:10 or 2:20. Yeah, 2:20. Okay. Yeah, share your screen. Who is going to share your screen? What is the 3D?
Opening it will take 1 minute.
Yeah, this is still opening. Yeah, it's a little bigger, so yeah, it takes a little longer, I think.
Again, this is an urban design project. You need to be
share 一下屏幕，没 share 上。
I need from you later. Even this is the site plan proposal to make it like a sketch. Okay, I need some 3D vision, not just for the site, but using your freehand sketch. Okay. I told you from the beginning, there is no time. You need to work very hard. Just 2 weeks less, not enough. Yeah. Why didn't put some of these images like? Yeah. So again, see, it's still like there is not all. I want to see all the site like floating, not just the building. You understand what I mean?
Sorry, can you repeat it again?
I want to see the full site like floating, go up and down. It's not just the building, not just what you're proposing.
Okay.
Okay? And even when the site is go up and go down, I should see the clear pedestrian route, cycle route, very clear how to move from the building to the open space. And see the edge, the edge with the water. Why is nobody use it? No sitting area, there is no design, there is no activities. Is that clear what I'm saying? See now, there is no design. There is no design. You just like it is 1, 2, 3, 6. It's like just you added 9 building. That's it. What about the rest of the site? The edge with the canal. I told you, like, you need to consider the whole site. Put the existing building even. It's okay, it's nice, it could be improved, but you need to design the whole site, not just by adding building, these 9 buildings, 3 in the center and 3 from here and 3 from here. You need to design the full site, the whole site. And again, when you're changing the language for the Pomana Island, you need also to consider the opposite in the other side or from this side. I'm not asking to design it in detail. Just use the same language for the future. There is a project for Zuha Hadid, an urban design project. Let me show you something. Let me show you something.
取消那个共享。
You see that?
他的意思就是这个，你知道吗？
You can see that, right? You can see?
Yeah.
See the language. This is when she's not designing in detail, but the whole context is being considered for the future development and the same. Okay, so even if like our project here, but when we consider the surrounding, we use the same language.
Okay.
Okay. You understand what I mean? See here, like she's designing the whole site, and the building maybe is part from the site. Okay. I want to see the language of the site, all the same. Maybe this is part from your future development. Do you see that? You can see this image?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, so see the detail here. See the detail, like the pedestrian road, the open spaces, the green spaces, the water, everything is designed in detail. This is the pedestrian, green spaces. We can see this is in detail. Here, the different layer, movement, okay? Is that clear? You can hear me, you can see this.
Yeah.
We can see the material. See, all this is like solar panel energy system. Okay, so we integrate the smart infrastructure system in our design proposal. All this may be part from the smart energy system, and also maybe collecting water, okay, system. So your design should showing something. See the design proposal. Yes. Yeah, you can watch these proposal, but the design, your designer proposals is very clear. Okay, from what I'm seeing now, you just like sticking some building on the side. I need from you to feel the side, how we can design the side. Okay, enjoy the design of the side. It's a great environment. The water, the edge of the water. Okay, is that clear?
Okay.
Yeah.
Any question? Next week, I want a detailed design.
Okay.
Okay.
A detailed design for the whole site. Everything, all layers, the plans, section, in detail.
Okay.
3D vision in detail, because there is no time. I will spend the last week with you to just give you a simple feedback for your portfolio. We are not going to talk about the design. So next week is going to be last chance for you to talk about the design proposal. So I need from you a full design proposal. Plan, section. When I mean plan section, not about just building. No, I want the open spaces, the whole site. A clear proposal. Look at some presentation of these, similar to these projects. What I'm showing you from these projects is nearly similar to your size of your project. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Good, good. I'm happy with the research part. Still, there's something we can add it, but it's not important. Now you need to concentrate more on the design proposal.
Okay.
The design proposal, very important, because now it's nothing, there is nothing. Okay?
Yeah.
So need an urban design project. Consider all the system, smart, sustainable system, part from your design. Okay?
Okay.
Any question? So talk with the friends by using this same meeting link, okay, to talk about your design proposal and how you can improve it. Is that right? Okay? Okay. Have a good day. Have a good day. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay? And see you next week. Okay? Bye. 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 Bye.